enjoy having beers, watching Thursday and Friday of opening week. I still enjoy that. But I think if Wisconsin is out, my interest wanes to this point, and I was projecting probably a little bit more onto others my own beliefs. I still believe this way. I still feel this way. I still think the NCAA has a big problem and that they need to work through. And I think men's basketball as a whole, college-wise, is not in a good place. I'll stand by all that.
I don't disagree with you.
And that is why my interest has waned. And it continues to wane. And if they don't do anything, there's still going to be plenty of fans. I'm just not going to be one of them.
Well, and the ombudsman, Rob Vogel, with a good point, too. Like, the number one overall seed in this tournament was Alabama, who had the best player in college basketball in Brandon Miller.
A lot of stuff going on.
Who
a lot of stuff.
The NCAA should be happy they got knocked off, because I think the last storyline that the NCAA wanted at the Final Four was, hey, look at these guys, Alabama, they're the best team in the country, and their star player delivered a gun to a fatal shooting
Allegedly.
for which one of his ex-teammates is charged with capital murder.
Yeah, allegedly.
I mean, that was problematic. Nate Oates, by the way, a Wisconsin native, the head coach of that team. So there would have been,
okay.
But I agree with you, when you have all four number one seeds out of the tournament before the Elite Eight, and those four top seeds, one of them lost in the first round, and a bunch of two seeds out, yeah, there's not a lot of household names that are involved. But you're right, because I don't follow the games.
But even before that, and my point is, even before that, there just aren't a lot of household names in college hoops. And that is the root of the issues that I have.
Right. There's also a bigger issue here. There's also a bigger issue here, which is the interest that people have in sports has evolved toward, can that guy get me Prize Picks points? Am I going to get the over-under line? Am I going to pick against the spread? That proliferation, there's. I can tell you this from my job standpoint, on the writing side of what I do, I still keep doing the job the same way, but I'm not sure that people are as interested in the storylines to begin with. I hope they are, but I think they're more interested in what's going to help me win my bet. Jesse, what have you gotten on some texts?
Mark in Janesville. More times out of 10, I'm on board with Big T, but I found more interest in this tournament than I have most of the past. Seeing more of a level playing field versus the same old powerhouses, plus the drama of so many brackets getting busted.
Okay. Hey, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I couldn't disagree more, but that's what's beautiful about sports. It's just not, it was not interesting to me. It just wasn't.
John in Portage. I think Tausch makes great points. When the big schools lose, the tournament becomes regionalized, similar to baseball with no Yankees or Dodgers left in the playoffs. The tourney isn't in a great place for universal appeal. Whether that's the worst in Tausch's life is up to the beholder.
It's a good text.
Yeah, this was the worst. This, for me, was the least interesting, maybe not worst, I'm going to say least interesting tournament. If you didn't live in South Florida, San Diego, or Storrs, Connecticut, I think your interest was all about gambling, and that was it.
Are you generally an upset guy? Do you cheer for the underdog?
I like a good upset, yeah.
But only early in the tournaments?
I think the peak of NCAA basketball was 91 after UNLV had smoked Duke. And then Duke, that 3-year run is the greatest run in the history of NCAA basketball.
Okay.
And my ideals, I can remember watching that game, the Kentucky-Duke game, 2 blue bloods, great shot making. That 3-year run with UNLV going undefeated and then Duke knocking them off and then Duke validating their deal, unlike what South Carolina did in the women's game, and winning back-to-back, that is the glory era of the NCAA, and I always am looking for that And unfortunately, I'm going to be sorely disappointed. There's not going to be that. And if I just want to say, boy, it's nice to see a plucky little squad from San Diego State take on the blue blood Connecticut Huskies, and if I'm okay with that, great. I'm not. I'm not interested in that. And I should have just said that more so than the other. It's never going to live up to that, but it still tells me men's NCAA basketball needs a total and utter revamp of what they're doing if they want to continue progressing, because they're sliding. I don't care. It doesn't bother me if that's. I hope that they view it that way, and if they don't, I'm out, and that's okay.
Before Tausch tells us about Kohler Services, I would just like to say that you're living in a time that was 30 years ago, and yes, I can stand here and tell you that Larry Johnson and Stacey Augmon and
Anderson
Greg
Hunt,
Anthony and Anderson Hunt and Elmore
Liddell
Spencer
Eccles.
were there.
Liddell Eccles.
Right, but that's like the nostalgia's
I know.
great, but that time is gone, man.
I was born in
know.
91.
All right, shut up.
But my point is, you know why I know those teams? Because they were great and they sustained it, and you got to know them. That ain't going to happen anymore. And you know what? That's on me to just say, stop living in the past, man. But that is part of sports. You have to bring in new people, but you also have to try to continue that. And if you're going to get rid of that, which with NIL and with transfer portal and everything else, that is the way it's going. It is now a year-to-year, month-to-month league, which is fine. How many people could name that Duke team, the starters, and Arkansas, Pig Suey, with Dillard and Big Nasty and Scotty Thurman? I can't remember what I did yesterday, but I can tell you Arkansas's teams, Duke's teams, and UNLV's teams from that era.
You can also tell us about Kohler Services.
I can, and if you're ready for a new shower, not some shower from the 90s, man, it's time for you to upgrade. Kohler Services is a local end-to-end bath and shower design and remodel service that's brought to you by Kohler, a family-owned business in Wisconsin for 150 years. And when you think premium, quality, Wisconsin brand, doesn't matter if it's 1980, 1990, or 2023, Kohler Services is the only manufacturer offering fast, professional installation and care for life. You can start enjoying your new bath or shower this year with a special offer. Just visit kswisconsin.com to request a free quote. Tell them that I sent you. Again, that's kswisconsin.com.
For those of you that regularly tune in to listen to Aaron Rodgers talk, or for those of you that were so sick of Aaron Rodgers talk that you were pleading for something else, we delivered that so far today. There has been no Aaron Rodgers talk today. That will change coming up a little bit later in the program. More next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Magoo's on the Mound is your game day headquarters. Located on 59th and Blue Mound, just minutes from the ballpark. Magoo's has food options for everyone and a vast selection of craft beers and cocktails. Enjoy some drinks and watch all the games with your buds. Or stay entertained with pool, darts, trivia, poker, or live music. Plus, Magoo's on the Mound offers plenty of free parking and shuttles to all home games for the crew. Check out their food and drink menu as well as upcoming events at magoos.biz. That's magoos.biz.
It's Jeff Levering for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Up to bat is Pella's award-winning Easy Slide innovation. Look at that effortless horizontal window slide, letting in lots of light. And that roll, it's a double play. Like magic, the screen disappears when the window is closed. On deck is Pella's Reserve Series patio door, featuring the best lifetime warranty in the industry. Just look at that slide. It's a perfect fit. Order by April 30th and get 0% for 48 months at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply.
Your first time biking to work. Your new helmet? Secure. Your bike? Road ready. You got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Access Checking. It's maintenance fee-free with no minimum balance requirements. So even if down the road that bike needs a little maintenance, at least your checking account won't. You've got this with Access Checking from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Stay up to date on the green and gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
Dr. Rick here. Another sign you're becoming your parents is getting particular about details that don't matter.
The craziest thing happened when we got tacos the other day. Was it Wednesday or Thursday we got tacos? I know it wasn't Tuesday because that's when I went to my hairdresser. Shoot, what day was it?
See how we all lost interest there?
Progressive can't help you from becoming your parents, but we can help you compare rates on home insurance with Home Quote Explorer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Honey, come here, quick.
What is it?
Shh, check it out. The prices on all these highly rated tequilas are amazing. Total Wine must have made a mistake.
Nope, they always have the best deals in town. Remember that amazing reposado your sister brought over last week? See, it's right here.
Whoa, that's a low price. I mean, whoa, that's a low price.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Just because the buzzer hits doesn't mean the game ends. Highlights.
Holiday back to Giannis, and Giannis will staple it through with a two-hand jam.
Reaction.
Bucks have been very good. So we're talking about 3 months now that the Bucks have been the best team in the league, and the Bucks and the Sixers have been the 2 best teams by a wide margin.
Your thoughts.
Take care of the glass. You know, we need to do that, and we did it in the fourth quarter.
Nobody knows the Bucks like Justin Garcia. Catch Bucks Talk after every game right here on 94.5 ESPN.
I lived alone and was having problems with my landlord. He's a creep. One night I'm watching TV and I hear my landlord letting himself in. Hey, get out. You can't keep coming in.
I'm just here to fix your fridge and spend some time together.
Get out. I'm reporting you.
Don't make a federal case of it.
A federal case? Sexual harassment in housing is against federal law. If you are harassed, file a complaint with HUD. Go to HUD.gov/fair housing. If you fear for your safety, call 911. Fair housing. The law is on your side. A message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Station updates, show clips, and your place to interact with us every single day just by scrolling through your feed. Follow along on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at ESPN Milwaukee. You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Putting a bow on our college basketball debate. Jesse's got a couple more texts, and then we'll shift gears to our buddy Mike, who is at our table at Magoo's on the Mound. By the way, thanks to them again. We had a great time. And by the way, my move afterward, and no one ate. 2 people that did not eat prematurely, you and Wex, didn't have anything to eat.
Nice work.
It was a good sandwich. I highly recommend it. Magoo's on the Mound. Thank you for your service. Jesse, what text messages do you have that you want to get to before the top of the hour?
Michael in Cottage Grove. I'm with Tausch.
Is there any better way to start a text if you want it read on the radio than those 3 words?
And perhaps also when you start expecting the unexpected, which is much of what the marketing of March Madness is built on, it can become somewhat anticlimactic. And it is to me. That is interesting to me. Because March Madness is all about, watch for the upsets. The upsets are crazy. And then you get all the upsets. If that becomes more normalized that, 16s beat 1s, 15s beat 2s like they have 3 years in a row, then it becomes less special when it happens more often. So I do get that point of it.
It's a great point. Because there were actually too many upsets. Like on the first day we were on the air, and my guy Tony Bennett's Virginia team lost as a 4 seed, and Kihei Clark had that terrible turnover that will haunt him. And that was replaced, like, in a matter of hours. Like, no one nationally was talking about that at all because there were so many other upsets. Then the next day, Zach Edey and Purdue lost. You need some, but not as many upsets. Good point. What else you got?
Chris in Baraboo. Tausch's fix for the NCAA is you got to stay 2 years. Drew Timme, your guy, Tausch, from Gonzaga.
Yep, star power.
Projected second-round NBA pick, by the way. Second round for Timme.
Yep, okay.
Timme stays, has the most 20-point games in NCAA tournament history, but then Tausch says he's not going to be a good NBA player, so he's not a star. Not really sure which one he wants. Chris and Baraboo coming at you.
That's a good point by Chris.
Should have started his text arrive with Tausch, though, just to be sure.
I think when you take the whole thing, there's issues with all of the player movement and the fact that you don't know any of these guys unless you're in that market and unless it's your team that you're going and finding. That's the issue. And, yeah, Drew Timme, Gonzaga has not won. They've been there. They've competed. They've been in position. They are, I thought, on the cusp of blue blooddom. Didn't work. They haven't won it. And now you're looking at, and Drew Timme, again, kudos to him. He stayed. He's, what'd you say, most 20 points? That's all great. But he's not a star. He's just not.
How are you saying Gonzaga is on the cusp of blue blooddom? And UConn's won 5 championships in 25 years, and Gonzaga's never won. And you're saying UConn's not a blue
You don't even know what conference UConn's in.
They're in the Big East against Marquette. They played Marquette in the conference tournament.
Where were they? They were in the AAC before that. They've missed the tournament a bunch. One of their titles, I think, had some questions around it. Yeah, you can go back and do all this. UConn deserves a ton of credit. Tip the cap, champs, everything else. I'm not changing my opinion on that part of it. I'm just not. But that doesn't mean, hey, kudos to Storrs, Connecticut. Champions abound. Women's, men's, the whole deal. They know what they're doing up there. But as far as entertaining and the game of NCAA basketball from the men's standpoint, it is it is eroding. It is not gaining. It's not getting better. It's getting worse, in my opinion. Are they going to do something about it? I certainly hope so. I don't know if they will, and if they don't, great.
Gonzaga played for the national championship in 2017 and 2021. They lost both of those, so maybe we would view them differently had they won one of them. They're kind of the Aaron Rodgers of the NCAA tournament. Jesse, you have time for one last text message. What are you going to do with it?
John in St. Louis. There were plenty of stars in the tournament. Edey, Brandon Miller, Timme, Jalen Wilson. Maybe Tausch just wants a 4-team tournament with whoever has the most star power, BCS style.
It's fair. I've seen some of that too. To put a bow on this, what I've learned is I am not a college on this. The way it is structured right now, outside of my loyalty to the Wisconsin Badgers and their program and my interest in Marquette, I am not a college basketball fan. And until something changes, I think I'm going to get less and less interested in college basketball. That's what I've learned in this hour. So thank you all, fans,
for your service.
You guys have continued to pound home that you think that the college game is thriving and rolling.
That's
great.
Not
Kudos to you guys.
That's not what we said.
I am not in that camp as I bow up the 9 o'clock hour. I'm not.
Bow has been placed.
Yes, indeed.
Give me the 90s. I want Duke in North Carolina, Vince Carter. I want Sean Respert from Michigan State. I want the stars that stayed, and I built some brand loyalty with that I wanted to take down. That's what I'm looking for, and that ain't going to happen, so maybe I need to move it along.
Mark Tauscher, Duke hater, missing Coach K, and Duke being there to hate in the Final Four.
In 1992.
You may not be a college basketball fan. You are a Coors Light fan, as we all have learned many, many, many times before.
I am, and I need to chill. I need to chill about the NCAA tournament. I just need to accept. And maybe it's a Coors Light in my hand that I need to do that. Brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold filtered, cold lagered, and it is cold packaged, so it is made to chill. Born in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado in 1978, Coors Light is refreshing. It is crisp. It's only 102 calories. Celebrate responsibly, Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
The 10 o'clock hour begins with yesterday's poll question, which has some very, very, very interesting returns. We'll do that in 2 minutes, so stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
That poor shotgun of yours. It only sees the light of day during a hunting trip or two each year. Don't you think that bad boy deserves to be fired year-round?
Bring it to Waukesha Gun Club, one of Wisconsin's largest shotgun-only clubs.
Their Sporting Clay League begins April 29th with trap leagues on May 13th.
Form a team with other friends of neglected shotguns or join a team of your own.
Waukesha Gun Club has over 98 acres and is the perfect place for business or family fun outings.
Learn more at waukeshagunclub.org.
It's time for the Milwaukee Baseball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by WM, the leading provider of comprehensive waste management services in North America. Learn about career opportunities in Wisconsin by visiting careers.wm.com.
After an opening day blanking, the Brewers' bats came alive in wins on Saturday and Sunday against the Cubs, starting with a clutch hit late.
0-1 pitch to Contreras. Swing and a little flare, shallow right, and it's down! 2 runs will score! And the Brewers have their first lead in 2023.
They would hold on to the lead for a 3-1 Saturday win, followed by a 9-run outburst on Sunday to take the series. Final score at 9-5. Jesse Winker leading the way in the series of 4 runs batted in. It's the home opener series this week as the Mets are in town for a 3-game set.
This has been the Milwaukee Baseball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by WM.
Mark Tausch here for my friends at Kohler Services. Well, are you ready for a new shower? If you are, Kohler Services is a local end-to-end bath and shower design and remodel service brought to you by Kohler, a family-owned business in Wisconsin for over 150 years. Kohler is the only manufacturer offering fast, professional installation and care for life. Start enjoying your bath or shower right now with a special offer. Visit kswisconsin.com to request your free quote and tell them that I sent you. Again, that's kswisconsin.com.
Ben Brust here. Catch Scalzo and Brust weekdays 4 to 6 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
I've been grinding so long, been trying it for years. And I got nothing to show, just climbing this rope right here. And if there's a man upstairs, he kept bringing me rain. But I've been sending up prayers and something's changed. I think I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life now.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. Yesterday, during the 10 o'clock hour at Magoo's on the Mound, as we got ready for the home opener, which the Brewers won, by the way, 10-0.
10-0. Nilly. Hey, quick question for you, J-Dog. We haven't had Counsell on in a while, but
have we ever had Counsell on our show?
He's been on at least once. Yeah, I think he's maybe been on twice. Vinny Vitrano on Wisconsin's Morning
Back
News.
when Duke and
WTMJ.
UNLV were in the National Championship, Counsell might have been on.
He's still playing.
So I'm on at 7:52-ish every morning on their show, and I'm catching. He's got Counsell on every Tuesday, and he's sitting there, and at the end of it, he calls Counsell coach.
No,
and you don't call a manager coach.
No,
Skip. You call him Skip.
Skip.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was so rattled. And after you guys grilled me yesterday because I didn't give him grief, I crushed him on it. So you guys would have been happy today just because you acted like I was afraid of him or something, like I'm afraid of Vinny. I'm not afraid of Vinny. So I crushed him on it. What, you think I'm afraid of? You really think that, huh? That's insane to me.
I'm glad we're living in your head, though.
But
That's
Skip.
good.
So now... Well, I remember things. Yeah, I'm not some
like Larry Johnson
AI
and Anderson
robot.
Hunt.
I'm not some AI robot yet.
Did you get at him a little too strong today, though, because we were in your head from
Overcorrection?
yesterday? Yeah.
No.
It's not that big a deal. Like you call your little league coach. That's coach.
Because he's the baseball coach. Yeah. When you're playing little league, no one call it. Like Tausch is not the manager of Max's team.
Right. Yeah.
He's the coach.
You're not Skipper T. You're Coach
Skip.
T.
Old Skip. All right. So was he okay? Like, did we didn't?
Yeah, no, he's fine. No, he's fine. Okay. He was rattled, though. He's definitely. I think he's very, very rattled. I'm assuming he'll, I told him that we're going to call him out every time he does something, and I think that bothered him a little bit. So you guys have got him really self-conscious.
Yes, we do. It's all us. All right. Thank you, Mark Murphy, for the laugh track. All right. Yesterday, things got a little heated yesterday, too. Like, that's 2 days in a row now where things have gotten a little, the temperature has gone up a bit. And this time, it was about our Packers debate, and our guy, Mike, at Magoo's, showed me his very large Packers tattoo on his chest. I was not expecting that, but he was very proud of it. And he had a very strong reaction to our discussion, and he kind of drove our discussion at Magoo's about the Packers and what's realistic to expect this season, and whether the Packers, which it all started with you saying, don't tell me what you say, show me what you do. And what the Packers have done, even though they haven't really done it yet, is trade Aaron Rodgers. And otherwise, my response to you was, they ain't done anything else. They brought back Keyshawn Nixon on a one-year deal. And Rudy Ford. And Corey Ballantyne, who I challenge our listeners. I don't know how many people know who Corey Ballantyne is. He's the Drew Timmy of the Packers roster. But I made the argument that they could be in for a very long year. And I believe we threw out the number 4 and 13 as a final record. That got a lot of reaction. And I am very, very, very surprised how this poll has gone with 1 hour remaining. Are you okay with the Packers going 4 and 13 this season if it means you have confidence that Jordan Love and the rest of the team is developing well for the future? 50.7% of nearly 2,000 votes say no, 4 and 13 is unacceptable. But 49.3% say yes, 4 and 13 would be fine. Tausch, what does that tell you?
So I've kind of went back and forth on this because I just know Packer fans, and I understand the mentality that if you're going to make this decision, everybody knows that there's going to be growing pains. But 4 and 13 is god-awful in a league that is built for you to not go 4 and 13. It's built for everybody to be 8 and 9, 9 and 8. So while you don't think it's a big deal, it's not you're throwing a rookie quarterback that has no experience into a mix. This isn't Aaron retires and we're sitting here, we don't know what the heck, we're going to get a veteran and then draft somebody that's going to take over. A la what the Bears have done with Justin Fields a couple of years ago. That's not the case. You have made a decision. You had every right to sit and stick with the status quo and think last year was an aberration.
Sure.
And you could have easily done this in 19 when Aaron Rodgers, and I put in quotes, struggled, even though he had said that struggle most quarterbacks in the league would take. You look at his stats from last year, I think most quarterbacks, not the Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen's, but most quarterbacks would take his stat line from last year. And you have decided that Aaron Rodgers and this offense is not good enough to win moving forward. That's what you've decided as an organization. To think that going 4 and 13 is going to be palatable for Packer fans, I did not feel that way. I don't. I do have to say, though, when someone brings up a good point back to me, it makes me pause. And they said, well, when Aaron Rodgers took over, you guys went 6 and 10, and everybody seemed content with it. Well, we didn't in that locker room.
No, of course
we weren't content with it. But from a fan standpoint, Aaron Rodgers got one of the most meaningful standing ovations of his career walking off the field against an 0-16 Lions team when you finish the season 6-10, because that validated in his mind that Packer fans, after a long, hard summer, had finally accepted him as their quarterback.
True.
It's a great story that Jason Wilde wrote in the State Journal. I'm sure you did anyways.
Multiple times, yeah.
In 2008. So I do think if you struggle, can Jordan Love be good enough to think that he is the guy if you go 4-13? It's a fascinating question. I don't think so, but there are other circumstances. You know, who else have you brought in? Where are you at talent-wise? Is this team better than the 2008 team? No. Our 2008 team is better than what this team is going to be. As we sit here now, you still have draft. There's still other things. Well, you could. What if you pick up a DeAndre Hopkins? I don't think that's going to happen, or someone. Is it so? If Jordan Love goes 4-13 with the division the way it is and everything else, I would really push back and say, well, is he really developing at a place where you want him to be if you go that bad? Now, if you go 7-10, 8-9, and you lose some close games, which, by the way, we were 6-10, one of the best 6-10 teams of all time. We have already
1-7. That team was in games decided by one score. 1-7.
Yeah, and then that narrative got pushed on Aaron Rodgers that he couldn't win close games because we went 1-7 that year. So
and the defense gave up a bunch of leads.
You have to look at the whole thing. We were a much better team than 6-10. That's what losers say, though. That's the loser's mentality. You have to find ways to win. So while I know that we could be sitting here in November and we're sitting at 2-11 or whatever it is, I can't imagine we'll be there. But if we are, I don't think Packer fans are going to be as rational as Mike and Magoo's was yesterday, saying, as long as Aaron's getting better, as long as Jordan Love is getting better, I got a hard time believing that. But you know what? Come November, if we're in that position and we have 49% say it's okay, and we still have that, mark that down, because if we're in that case, I will guarantee it ain't going to be 50-50 that people are okay with it.
Also, you're right. That's the loser's mentality. I get it. But at the same time, young quarterbacks, wouldn't you agree, need to learn how to win. And while Aaron Rodgers did get you guys the lead, I believe in those 7 games you lost by one score, there were 4 instances in which he got you the lead in the final 2 minutes, and the defense gave it back. So he was learning how to win, but so was that team, even though you guys were, I don't know if entirely intact, but mostly intact from a team that went to the NFC Championship game the year before. This poll is interesting. You can still vote in it. We can get over 2,000 votes here in the next couple of seconds. I am intrigued. 4-13 is bad. There's no 4-12 in 2005 was bad, and no one was saying, well, they're headed in the right direction. The coach got fired.
Never got fired. Yeah.
And they weren't breaking in a new quarterback. So this will be a great test, too, for the get Rodgers out of here, it's time for Jordan crowd if we're having these conversations at 2-11. Because I would like to check the receipts on all the people that tweeted at us if that's where they are. I don't know if they will be. I'm not predicting they will be. I think they're going to go 6-11. If you forced me to pick their final record in 2023 without the draft having occurred yet, I'm saying they're going to go 6-11, which is kind of like 6-10 in 2008. Harry Douglas had some interesting things to say that Jesse curated. The Packers still moving the needle, certainly more than the San Diego State Aztecs are currently. Plus, we've got.
Did you get that? Did you get that little note I just sent you?
Yeah,
you guys that were
right.
all
okay. But what's great about the note you sent me is that you literally are agreeing with me because that's what I said about upsets earlier. Tausch sent this along from Anthony Krupe. I'm not super familiar with Anthony's work, but it looks like he's got a lot of interest in TV ratings. Everyone loves a Cinderella in the early rounds of the tourney. After a certain point, not so much. Final Four on CBS averaged 12.276 million viewers, down 29% from a year ago when it was Carolina, Kansas.
And it was on cable. And it was on straight cable, not on CBS.
The Final Four, though, was Duke-Carolina in the greatest Duke-Carolina rivalry game ever played.
Indeed it was.
I'm just telling you, it was on basic cable. This was on linear TV. That matters.
Indeed it does. What also matters is what Harry Douglas
I'm going to tell you this. If Iowa and Caitlin Clark make the Final Four next year, the women's ratings will be higher than the men's.
If they play at 6
and if you don't think the NCAA men's basketball feels like that's a problem, I don't know what to tell you.
All right, Jesse, mark that tape. Go set it aside for next year. And we'll see if the Blue Bloods are back in the Final Four, if that ends up being true or not, or if it's a bunch of upsets.
I'm sure Jesse's going to mark the tape. I asked him for something from yesterday off of our show, and we didn't mark that tape. But he'll mark this for next April. Yep, I got a feeling I know where that's going to be. I don't know what happened to that audio.
Jesse does have the audio of Harry Douglas, and he'll play it next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. When you're injured, call Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Proudly serving Wisconsin for over 30 years and proudly partnering with Wilde and Tausch. Miss any of the show? Find it with Wisconsin On Demand. Presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
If you have joint pain and they're telling you surgery is your best option, please stop what you're doing and call QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Tony Smith. The professionals at QC Kinetics use the latest, most advanced regenerative treatments to bring lasting pain relief the natural way. Regenerative medicine harnesses your own body's healing agents to restore and repair damaged tissue in your knees, your hips, your shoulder, and back. The precision treatments are done in the office with no drugs and no downtime. QC Kinetics has hundreds of clinics all over America and thousands of satisfied patients. If your joints are aching from arthritis or injury, look beyond steroids and surgery and discover the amazing possibilities with regenerative medicine. Especially this time of year, you need to be living life to the fullest and doing the stuff you love to do. If you can get relief and avoid going under the knife, doesn't it make sense to check it out? Call QC Kinetics now. It's a free consultation, no obligations. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Don't wait. 414-285-3474.
Fleet Farm is your one-stop shop for everything you need for your pets. Choose from our huge selection of food, treats, toys, and more for your four-legged friends. Going on now, get a free $10 Fleet Farm gift card when you buy a 28-pound bag of Taste of the Wild dog food. Plus, with our price match guarantee, you'll always get the best price on your pet's food. Get it all at Fleet Farm, your pet headquarters.
At least twice as big
as the one you gave her when you got engaged.
That's the definition of a big anniversary diamond.
Kessler's has lots of ways for you to go twice as big.
We have twice as big diamonds from diamond mines.
These diamonds come from the fiery heart of Mother Earth. And the ones that exist in the world today are all there will ever be.
Kessler's also has twice as big created diamonds.
These diamonds come from the fiery heart of a ball of lightning, a miniature star, inside a plasma chamber. It's a wonder to behold.
Kessler's also has twice as big flickering firelight diamonds.
These natural diamonds flicker with all the warm colors of firelight instead of the cold colors of ice. Flickering firelight diamonds are another wonder to behold.
And all of these twice as big diamonds are for her.
The best wonder to behold of all. Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you, go to KesslersDiamonds.com.
Your first date? Going well. The carnival? Cash only. But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you, with access to over 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs. So when you decide to win that giant stuffed purple raccoon at $5 a throw, we're looking out for you. No matter how many throws it takes. You've got this. With 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs from Associated Bank. See AssociatedBank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen. For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners, where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you Mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Spending more time at home? Don't forget that 94.5 ESPN's on your smart speaker. Just ask Alexa to open 94.5 ESPN. 94.5 ESPN on Alexa is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Holding me back, gravity's holding me back. I want you to hold out the palm of your hand. Why don't we leave it at that? Nothing to say when everything gets in the way. Seems you cannot be replaced, and I'm the one who will stay.
All right, I'm not sure what to make of this.
Uh-oh.
It was brought up to me on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy this morning. And now I see that Craig Carton, who is a radio personality in New York. First it was there's a mystery team that is looking to make a play for Aaron Rodgers if this Jets thing falls.
Let's play Guess That Mystery Team.
Okay, because if you want to play that, we can, but Craig Carton has now stated who the mystery team is, so let's see if you're right.
Yeah, I don't follow Craig Carton, so I don't know who it is yet. So let's play it out and see if I can guess who that mystery team is.
Okay. Who would you like to guess?
So obviously the Jets have made their ideas wide open with flying out to seeing Aaron Rodgers, and the fact that this isn't done yet kind of makes me wonder, the Packers going to leverage this to get what they want from the Jets, because their timeline is starting to shrink. The Jets want their quarterback in. It was reported that they don't want to trade Aaron to an NFC team. I think at this point they want to get the Jets offer as high as it can and then just be done with this. So the NFC teams that need a quarterback, it's got to be an NFC team.
Yes.
Carolina would have been my first pick, but they obviously gave up everything
now
to
they
get
have
to that
the first
one spot.
pick. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they have the one spot. They're going to take either Stroud or old boy from Alabama. So what team needs a veteran quarterback that's close, that is right there, nip it at the doorstep? San Francisco 49ers is my pick. That or the Minnesota Vikings.
Great job. Since you're on this text message that has the link. Way to go.
I haven't looked enough.
I believe you. Yes, the 49ers. Again, I'm not here to disparage other people's work, but in what universe do you believe the Green Bay Packers would trade Aaron Rodgers to the San Francisco 49ers? Please tell me.
Oh, yeah, that's not going to happen.
If they're content going 4-13 and restructuring and retooling for the future, and they don't care about winning the NFC this year.
If the New York Jets are refusing to give the Packers their 2024 first-round pick, which appears to be the stumbling block at this point, the Jets have two twos on the table.
Is that your reporting, or is that somebody else's?
I think that's in Charles's story. The Jets have two twos on the table. A 2 this year, a 2 next year. If they make the AFC Championship game, that 2 next year goes up to a first-round pick. Goody wants a flat-out first-round pick in 2024. That was the reporting. If the San Francisco 49ers said, we'll give you F them picks, we'll give you a second this year, and we'll give you the number 1 you want in 2024, is he going to trade him to the 49ers?
I'm not even sure. Do they have a 1 left? They gave up
They don't have
every
one this
one
year.
forever.
Yeah, I don't think they have one this year.
I
I'll
don't even
have
know
to look
if they have a
one
2
next year.
this year. I think they traded for McCaffrey. They gave up a 2. I don't even know if San Fran has any picks to give up.
I'm no Craig Carton, so I don't know. But I would be curious under what circumstances this could actually happen.
The first.
Hey, how much do you think? Go ahead, Jess.
The first pick for the San Francisco 49ers in the 2023
is a compensatory third-round pick, isn't it?
It is overall pick number 99 in the third round. They also have pick 101 and 102. All those are compensatory picks.
Oh, they should trade all their third-round picks to Goody because those third-round picks go very well.
Great move for the 49ers, yeah.
So, Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to do the OTAs anyways, right? I don't think he's uber interested in doing any of that. Where do you think his mind is at as far as how much leverage he wants to put on the Green Bay Packers by showing up, if that is indeed what he's thinking about doing? Or do you think he's fine just sitting here and letting this thing play out and letting it drag till past the draft, and then all of a sudden the Packers are sitting without getting the Jets' second this year, and it gets less and less likely that they're going to get a first-round pick for him moving forward?
Yeah, I saw someone on Twitter say that I was being manipulated by off-the-record comments from Aaron Rodgers, which maybe there's some validity to that. Some might call it taking the cheese on this program. I think his belief is that he can show up for training camp with Nathaniel Hackett's offense and Nathaniel Hackett teaching it to all of their other players and Zach Wilson running the offense in the offseason program, and he will be supremely motivated and will go into training camp, assuming a trade happens at the start of training camp or slightly before it, when the Packers start to panic that, oh, my God, this guy's going to show up for training camp, that he can hit the ground running and everything will be fine. That's what I believe he thinks. Whether he's right about that, I don't know. What I do know is that we will circle back to this because today's a big day for us. Our friend Sophia Minard, who we love on this program and think the world of, returns for yet another year, which I don't know why she would agree to that. I'll ask her that when she joins us, and she's scheduled to join us next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is on air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcasts for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
To be able to breathe properly when you sleep is a profound change. To be able to sleep properly is probably the most important thing you can do for your health, period. End of sentence. In order to sleep properly, you have to be able to breathe properly. If you can't breathe properly, you aren't going to sleep properly. It sounds sort of like simple, and like I'm talking to a first grader, but I'm simply saying that most people don't recognize how profoundly impacted their sleep is by their breathing issues until we fix it. And so if we fix somebody's nose, we fix their sinuses, we make sure that their throat is staying open when they're sleeping at night, their body is, for the first time ever, breathing properly and therefore sleeping properly. And you kind of forget, like, oh, this was such a big deal for me before I got it fixed.
Breathe well with simple solutions at vetnose.com.
Woo! I am thirsty today. Definitely gonna need a cold one. There's the one. Lent may be coming to an end, but there's still plenty of time to enjoy one of the best pairings in the state. My Guy Wonder is here from Potosi Brewing Company to give us the lowdown on what makes Potosi's Cave Ale such a perfect partner for fish fries.
Cave Ale is a English-style amber, 5.5%. Very, very smooth beer. I've gone to a lot of places that have served the fish fry and the Cave Ale, and it's been very successful. It being an English amber, it's perfect fit. You know, it's not hoppy at all. It's got a nice malt base to it. So it's perfect to put in the beer batter along with drinking it next to it.
Thanks to My Guy Wonder to tell us all about what pairs best with a fish fry, and that's the Cave Ale from Potosi. Remember, folks, Glenn or not, the fridge is always stocked.
A wide array of opportunities abound at Waste Management.
During the whole pandemic, Waste Management didn't have us laid off. I didn't get pay cuts, all that, keeping all of our benefits the same. They'll pay for your bachelor's degree, they'll pay for my master's. Next year, they'll be willing to pay for my wife's master's and kids, and to show that they're really about putting their people first and growing the business within. That's incredible.
Join the Waste Management family. Just search online, Waste Management Careers.
The Bucks Bar Network, presented by Michelob Ultra and Bally Sports Wisconsin, boasts the best spots to cheer on the Deer when you're not at Fiserv Forum. With official Bucks Bar Network locations throughout the entire state, you can catch every single game. Pair the edge of your seat action, freakish plays, and championship caliber Bucks basketball with a Michelob Ultra. Visit bucks.com/bars to find the Bucks Bar Network location near you.
Today, more than 6 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's, and more than 11 million family members and friends serve as their caregivers. While researchers are working tirelessly to end Alzheimer's and all other dementia, the number of people living with Alzheimer's is expected to more than double by 2050. The toll of the disease is monumental, and its devastation affects family, friends, and especially caregivers. No one should face Alzheimer's and dementia by themselves. If you or someone you know is struggling to provide care to a loved one, please share this message. You are not alone. Free help and resources are available 24/7. To talk with an expert and obtain disease-related information, care and support services, call 800-272-3900 or visit the Alzheimer's Association website at alz.org. You are not alone.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Not to be confused with Lamont Jordan, who is actually Lamont Butler. That music you hear is Montel Jordan, and that can only mean one thing. From Bally Sports Wisconsin and the Milwaukee Brewers, returning for yet another season, God knows why, on our program, it is Sophia Minert on Wilde and Tausch. Sophia, good morning. Did someone twist your arm into doing another year, or did you choose to do this or are we paying you such an exorbitant sum that you're like, yeah, I'll put up with those guys again for another year?
No, I'm happy to be back for another year. Chose to do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't believe you, but I'm glad you're doing it anyway. I want to start with yesterday because I got to listen to our pal Jeff Levering and Bob Uecker on my drive back from Magoo's on the Mound, but I had been out of the car. I think it was 1-0 when I got out of the car, and when I got in the car again, it was 10-0. What a home opener, and what a 3-1 start to the season for your young Milwaukee Brewers. How do you feel about the way things have kicked off for this team in 2023?
Yeah, I mean, I think yesterday was one of the most memorable home openers that we've had in a really long time. And it was everything. You know, I think fans were obviously really excited anytime you come back and it's sold out, and they had the cowbells, and they had, you know, just a ton of energy. And then, you know, just the game itself. You got 6 scoreless innings from Freddie Peralta. He looks great. Brian Anderson, they finally get their first home run. And then, of course, the incredible run that Bryce Terang is on. And I think we'll just all never forget kind of that moment for him of, you know, your first career homer. It's a grand slam. It's the home opener. You're playing in Milwaukee for the first time. His parents and his grandparents are there. It kind of was just one of those magical moments, and his reaction and the curtain call. It's just, those are moments that you just love, whether you're a diehard fan of the team or not. So, yeah, yesterday was a really fun day.
What's also fun is that they've got some young studs that look like they're going to be pretty good. And I know there's going to be ups and downs with young players. But you mentioned Terang, obviously Mitchell, and then Weimer. Am I saying that right?
Mm-hmm.
Weimer?
Yep.
Which is a little close to Wiener for me, but nevertheless.
He's heard that a couple times.
I'm sure he has. I'm very creative when it comes to my jokes. When you look at this youth infusion, if you will, it takes a little while to get excited about young players. But I was thinking back as I was driving yesterday, too, and I think this might predate your time slightly because you're young and I'm old, but, there was that era where it was like J.J. Hardy, Prince Fielder, Ricky Weeks, where we kept hearing about how good they could be as they were coming up through the farm system, and then they got here, and you're like, hey, they could be really good. Is there a feeling similar to that, or am I just associating two things that aren't even close to being similar?
No, I think there are absolutely similarities, and look, I think if you're projecting that onto these guys, like the Brewers would be thrilled if any of them had careers along the likes of Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder and J.J. Hardy and Corey Hart and Ricky Weeks. I mean, those are some really dynamic players that had really great, successful major league careers, right, and played in the game for a long time. So if you get anything close to that, the Brewers would be thrilled. But I think what's really exciting and what makes people think of that group is that they're just incredibly athletic. They're true kind of five-tool players in terms of how they play. They have great energy. What's really fun about the three of them that are here with the Major League team, and I'll include Sal Frelick, who's in AAA, and I'm sure we'll see him at some point this season, is they all do it differently. They all have their own strengths. They're all really fun to watch. They're all unique in how they play. They all have really unique personalities. We've gotten to see that with the series that the Brewers production team did called The Freshmen. So we're getting to know these guys off the field as well. But yeah, I think if you can get that kind of production from these guys, and you said it, like they're off to a great start. They're making huge contributions, but they are going to be challenged. And that's going to come in mistakes. That's going to become in seeing major league pitching. That's going to come at the plate. They're going to be challenged. But for now, this is as good of a start as you could ask for.
So, Sophia, what are some of the coolest things that you've learned so far about these quote-unquote freshmen, whether it's just from your own sitting down with these guys or some of the stuff that you've learned, just from some of the teammates about what makes this such a fun group of young players?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll start with Bryce. I think it's just he is so calm. He's got that, very California laid-back personality. He never seems fazed by anything. He's got probably the most steady heartbeat of the group. I mean, I think you saw some great emotion from him yesterday after the home run and the curtain call and all of that. He'll definitely show the emotion, but I think he just, on and off the field, he's about as steady and even and calm in just how he does everything. He's just very chill. He's like the chill guy of the group. And then, Joey is kind of the opposite. Joey is just in constant motion, and he's kind of just like this tornado that comes through, and the comparisons are made to Hunter Pence, and it feels really accurate. He's huge. Talking to his parents over the weekend at Wrigley, he's just always been a freak athlete. His high school football coach called him the freak he's just a physical presence. He looks like he belongs in the big leagues, and the way that he has his approach at the plate, it's like constant movement. It's like the opposite of what you would teach, but it works for him. And he just kind of plays like his hair is on fire. And then, Garrett, we got to know last year. He's just got great confidence. Does remind me of Ryan Braun with the confidence that he has, but he's still a very humble kid. And they're just fun. Honestly, it's just energy. They bring so much energy. And I think it rubs off on everybody else. Whenever you see guys go through these things the first time and you see what it means to them. I think for the older guys, it takes them back to their own memories. That was something we heard from Freddie Peralta yesterday, is watching Bryce and what he was able to do. It made him think of his own debut and his own mom and the emotions that come with that day. And he was getting emotional. So it's cool, kind of the impact that they're having on the group right now.
Talking with Sophia Minard on Wilde and Tausch. Sophia, speaking of impacts, I think yesterday's game, I heard Jeff Levering say as it wrapped up that it was done in 2 hours and 37 minutes in a 10-0 game. And obviously, listening to Uke, I think it's really interesting. He's such a storyteller when he calls games. There's not a lot of time for storytelling now with the pitch clock. How have you seen baseball look different to you because of the pitch clock, because of banning the shift, larger bases? Like, these have been all things that we knew were coming. Has it, during these 4 games, looked a lot different than the game that you've been covering for so long?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and I think these rules have done exactly what they were intended to do. We've seen faster games. You know, on average, the games are 25 to 30 minutes faster, which is great for everyone, but I think especially for fans, if you're coming to a game, the pace is something that stands out to you right away. There's just not a lot of dead time like there was before. Even there was a game over the weekend, Sunday, I believe, when the team scored 9 runs. It was like 13 hits, and the game was still just under 3 hours. And you brought up yesterday, it's a 10-0 game. That 7-run inning, I think, was almost half an hour long, as they batted around and added on a couple runners there as well. And you're still at 2:30, whatever it ended up being. So I think that the pace of play makes it a much better product for fans who are coming out. I think you'll see it if you're watching games on TV as well. You're seeing more guys on base. You're seeing more steals. That's been true across the league. I think through the opening weekend, there were 49 stolen bases across the league, which is a big jump up from what we have seen in the past. So, we got to see all of this at spring training, and it felt, I think everyone adjusted really quickly. And then you got to see the difference in the World Baseball Classic games, and that's kind of what stood out to me, is how quickly everyone had adjusted to things like the pitch timer and the new pace, when then you were watching games and players were participating in these games where those new rules were not in place. And it was a pretty jarring difference. So yeah, I think the early returns have been very positive, and I think everyone is enjoying it. I think we all appreciate, getting some time back and cutting out some of that dead time that we've seen in games of them unnecessarily, dragging on too long. So yeah, I think overall it's been very positive.
All right, last thing before we let you go, because we only get you every other week, and I don't want to overstay our welcome with you the first time out for this year. I heard Chewy, of all people, ask a really interesting question on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy yesterday on my way to Magoo's on the Mound. He was talking about the perfect score of a game. He said, my ideal NFL game score is 31-28. And he asked the same question about baseball, and he said, 5-4, 7-4, somewhere in there where there's scoring, but it's not, a slugfest. It was really interesting to me because, I don't really love a 1-0 shutout with a bunch of strikeouts. What is your ideal baseball game score?
Wow. I've really never given that much thought.
Yeah, neither had I. That's why I was so taken aback, A, by the quality of the question, and B, that it came from Chewy.
That's mean.
I said that to Chewy during. I just want to state for the record, I said that to him.
Yeah, but it's still mean. Just because you say that, you make it sound like Chewy's an idiot, can't come up with a good question.
Maybe.
Just for the record. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, your answer to that great question, unexpectedly.
Yeah, I would say something middle of the road, probably similar to him, like a 5-3, 6-4, because I think you want to see a well-balanced game, and by that I mean I think you want to see good pitching, but I also think you want to see the ball in play, you want to see offense, Fans love home runs. And I think with these new rules, like you're seeing guys be more aggressive on the base paths. You're seeing more stolen bases. So I think you're going to see more scores like that, which is hopefully the point of the rules. So I think something like that. I think the blowouts, like a 10-0 like yesterday, that's fun, right? Because you're seeing great offense, you're seeing great pitching. Freddie Peralta was great yesterday. But I think, you kind of want the drama at the end, right? Like you want the save situation for your closer. You want to see Devin Williams in the game. So I think you want a well-balanced game of good pitching, good defense, good fun scoring, right? Like different kinds of run production. Maybe some great defense as well. There's usually a couple of good defensive highlights in there in a game like that. And then you get to, hopefully see a closer at the end, close it out. So that's kind of how I would write my script for the game.
Sophia, we're thrilled to have you back. Tell Al Minert that the son he never wanted and the brother you never needed said hello. We appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
That is Sophia Minert from Bally Sports, Wisconsin, and the Milwaukee Brewers. She'll be joining us every other week, as she has for the past several years. We will get back to our areas of expertise next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart, located at 16th and National in Milwaukee. National Liquor Mart is packed with deals for all your beverage needs, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily.
A battle of heavy hitters in Milwaukee on Sunday night between the Bucks and 76ers, and Giannis came to play.
Giannis has it going the other way. 6 seconds to work with. Giannis with a stutter step. Takes it into the paint. Attacks the rack. Sends it down with a grown man dunk. Oh, the Greek Freak. He's eating now.
He finished with 33 points and 14 rebounds in a 117-104 Bucks win. They hit just 10 threes in the game, but held Philly to 46% shooting overall. 4 games left for the Bucks this week to wrap up the regular season, starting with a trip to D.C. on Tuesday night to take on the Wizards.
This has been the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN, brought to you by National Liquor Mart. Even when you think you know what's going on,
They played some tight games, but they played.
Sorry, you can never be too sure.
I've got a cold.
Yes, but you also have a cough button over there.
Or an off button.
Packers, nonsense, chaos.
I'm not going to do well that was on camera
at all. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, morning 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Milwaukee, are you ready to guac? It's almost National Burrito Day. In honor, Qdoba is hosting the first ever World Burrito Eating Championship at the Beer Garden in Deer District on Thursday, April 6th. Doors open at 11 a.m. Professional Major League eaters are set to crush the flavorful World Eating Championship Burrito. Qdoba invites up to 500 people to this free event with games, tasty samples, music, and prizes. Make plans now to be at the Beer Garden in Deer District on Thursday afternoon, April 6th to celebrate with Qdoba.
Make your statement with Fast Signs of Glendale. You have an idea, and Fast Signs of Glendale can make it happen. 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee works with Fast Signs of Glendale on their vehicle lettering, studio and event signage, and much more. Your company should consider Fast Signs of Glendale with your next custom sign project. Big or small, they can do them all. See their work at fastsigns.com. That's fastsigns.com. Fast Signs of Glendale, proud marketing partner of 94.5 ESPN.
If you have joint pain and they're telling you surgery is your best option, please stop what you're doing and call QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Tony Smith. The professionals at QC Kinetics use the latest, most advanced regenerative treatments to bring lasting pain relief the natural way. Regenerative medicine harnesses your own body's healing agents to restore and repair damaged tissue in your knees, your hips, your shoulder, and back. The precision treatments are done in the office with no drugs and no downtime. QC Kinetics has hundreds of clinics all over America and thousands of satisfied patients. If your joints are aching from arthritis or injury, look beyond steroids and surgery and discover the amazing possibilities with regenerative medicine. Especially this time of year, you need to be living life to the fullest and doing the stuff you love to do. If you can get relief and avoid going under the knife, doesn't it make sense to check it out? Call QC Kinetics now. It's a free consultation, no obligations. 414-285-3888. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Don't wait. 414-285-3474.
ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta here for St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Looking for the perfect place to host a private party to celebrate a birthday or that big promotion? Bring your group to the Dark Room, the secret dining area located inside St. Kate. The Dark Room provides a quiet, swanky setting for an intimate meal with your favorite people. When you book an event at the Dark Room, you work directly with the St. Kate dining team to create a custom menu for your celebration. Learn more about hosting your next party in the Dark Room. Visit stkatearts.com.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Thanks again to Sophia Minert. If you missed our conversation with her, which was enlightening as usual, you can always find it on Wisconsin On Demand, presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Thanks to David and his team for supporting the show and for supporting Wisconsin On Demand. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Time now for a little Twitter Trash or Twitter Treasure presented by WM.
You only find two things on Twitter: trash.
Yes, I love trash.
And treasure. Brought to you by WM, the leading provider of comprehensive waste management services in North America. Learn about career opportunities in Wisconsin by visiting careers.wm.com.
Leading off, it's the GOAT at ESPN, Homer. And yes, we're talking college basketball again.
Oh, no.
Homer, my point. Marquette is part of a dominant basketball conference in the Big East, and the Big Ten has been a national disappointment for 40 years. All Big Ten fans should be sad, embarrassed, and take whatever is said by anyone. They are big only in title. Admit it and move on. Twitter trash or Twitter treasure from Homer.
That's trash. The Big East has had 50 different teams. They don't even know what the hell they're doing. They got football. They got basketball. They don't know who's where. They are ripe to be picked off by this new deal. There's a good chance the Big East doesn't even exist when they reevaluate and realign all of the different conferences. But, hey, I'll give an attaboy. Connecticut, did they win one of their championships when they were in the AAC and not the Big East? Because I think Old Boy is giving them a lot of credit. But grand scheme of things, the Big Ten has not won very many basketball championships. They got Ohio State winning a couple in football. It has not been a great century when it comes to men's basketball and men's football for the Big Ten. When it comes to winning championships, it is SEC all the time. And that does irritate me, so I can't crush Homer on it because what he's saying is very factual, but it annoys me and I don't like it.
But the Big Ten has Caitlin Clark, and that's all that matters because they've got star power on the women's side. Jesse, what's next?
ESPN college basketball analyst, also does some ESPN radio hosting with his wife, Shea Cornett. Jordan Cornett.
Yeah, I like him.
Twitter trash or Twitter treasure debut. Jordan Cornett tweeting last night, UConn, slickest uniforms in the game. It ain't close. Twitter trash or Twitter treasure, Tausch?
This is going to be weird for me. I am completely indifferent. I am a Kim Mulkey uniform, like the sparkly, frizzled up deal. She wins March Madness from a fashion standpoint for me.
The Tiger Queen?
No, the one where she had it was like the frizzle deal.
It was like it was like the pirate shirt and Seinfeld with the sleeves.
Yeah, she was wearing frizzle deals. If we're gonna get into fashion, and I like Jordan a lot, I think she is the one. She wins March when it comes to not only winning a championship, but also from a wardrobe standpoint. I think she wins it.
I think it's the UCLA uniform just because they weren't playing in the Final Four, but they have a classic look that I really like. So I will disagree with Jordan. Next.
The College of Charleston, their uniform. I know they only played in one game, but their
What about
uniform,
those Bradley throwbacks?
Oh, those were good. The College of Charleston, they were black uniforms and just cursive script, the college, on the front. I thought those were the best uniforms I saw this March. Last one from Greeny at ESPN Greeny. Mike Greenberg, host of Tausch's favorite show, Get Up. I can't speak for anybody else, but I hate April Fool's Day. I live with enough apprehension in my life without having to wonder if everyone is just kidding. We talked a little bit about yesterday, April Fool's Day, and how stupid it is and we need to retire it. Tausch, Twitter Trasher, Twitter Treasure with Greeny here, saying that he hates April Fool's Day.
Yeah, it's treasure. April Fool's Day is trash. It's over. So the tweets treasure, the concept of April Fools is complete. There's so much misinformation and disinformation out there. I don't need these stupid jokes that aren't really funny. If you're going to get it, it's got to be some type of play. You know, like where Mark Cuban, I saw that was resurfacing where he was fighting the ref and it was all one big April Fool's Day deal. That tweet from the St. Louis X-Hawks, it really set me off because it was so out of tune and just dumb that totally soured me on the April Fool's stuff. So, yeah, I'm good with Greeny. I think that's treasure, and I think the April Fool's Day as a whole needs to go. Deuces a B.
April Fool's Day is trash, but this tweet is also trash because it's in Twitter Trash or Twitter Treasure only because it agrees with Jesse, who went out of his way to make his point yesterday about April Fool's Day being trash, which we already covered this ground, so that you could have put a different tweet in this spot. But you just wanted to show that Greeny and you are on the same page.
He's got some clout, man. I got to get Greeny on my team. Yeah, so be it.
That's it for Twitter Trash and Twitter Treasure. It's also it for the 10 o'clock hour, the 11 o'clock hour, with returning to some national perspectives on the Aaron Rodgers situation. Kicks off in 2 minutes. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Kevin Moret here from Mentality Men's Health. Guys, did you know that the stored belly fat reduces your free testosterone? The more the belly grows, the harder it is to drop, mostly because of the decrease in free T. It's a vicious cycle that men are losing, and unfortunately, everyone can see it. Mentality breaks that cycle with semaglutide, an industry-changing weight loss medication that can help you lose up to 15% of your body weight while preserving your testosterone. Join our over 20,000 clients to look and feel the way you deserve. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
No one else does it like Scalzo and Brust.
He's just been botching everything.
Listen, he ain't built for a long, hard day of work. He's built for short spurts. He's not a marathon runner. He's a sprinter. So you should have known when he was doing Day of the Manager with me from 9 till 12 this morning that you are not going to get the best.
I agree, Tausch. This is all on Greg.
Yeah, you knew that. Scalzo, you should know.
Weekdays 4 to 6 on 94.5 ESPN. It's Scalzo and Brust, presented by Bud Light.
It's Gary Olson here from Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center. Looking for that midday escape from the office? Or maybe you want to impress a potential client? Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center offers a top-tech, cutting-edge golf experience that gives you the chance to play courses like St. Andrews, Whistling Straits, and more. Even when it's not perfect golf weather outdoors, Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center's simulators, entertainment, and their best Bloody Marys make it feel like summer. At just $35 an hour for a bay, Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is the perfect weekday getaway. Book your bay today at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
Life's more rewarding at Blaine's Farm and Fleet, especially during our outdoor sale. Right now, get unbeatable deals on our quality selection of spring supplies for outdoor projects. Gear up with men's and women's Carhartt pocket tees, 2 for $30. Keep tools handy with a Bucket Boss Mullet Buster suspension tool belt, only $49.99. Get $16 off a Kidda Pro 340 fire extinguisher and save $7 on a state crabgrass preventer with fertilizer, just $29.99. Shop our new Blaine's Farm and Fleet store in Grafton, located at 1771 Wisconsin Avenue.
Hey, this is Homer. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. And it will begin with Harry Douglas and our buddy Mike Tannenbaum. But Tausch, you just sent me this tweet from Bruce Irons, which I don't know Bruce.
That's a good,
He's got
strong
a great name,
isn't
though,
it?
man.
Yeah,
like he should
Bruce
live in Pittsburgh.
Irons.
Don't mess with Bruce.
What does Bruce do for a living, you think?
I don't know,
You hear
but
the
he's
name
got the-
Bruce, like a butcher?
Packers FTW. I don't know what his bona fides are. He's a contributor to Cheesehead TV.
For the win, by the way. FTW.
No, not thank you for your service and for explaining to me what FTW stands for. But Packers for the win is not something I am familiar with. Cheesehead TV, I am. But Tausch sent this tweet over, which I think is a white flag tweet if he's thinking the way he is as a Packers fan. This is what I find interesting, Bruce writes. Rodgers only has 1 or 2 years left. The Packers won't be competing for a title for another 1 or 2 years. There's really no reason not to trade him within the NFC. Now, Tausch, you found this interesting. You also were critical of the idea, and 4-13 is different than not competing for the Super Bowl. But if you're basically saying, hey, we're not going to win the Super Bowl anyway, so we might as well trade him within the NFC, you want to talk about a loser's mentality. That seems problematic to me. Am I wrong?
So, I think looking at it, if you were going to do that, you should have opened it up earlier and not went down this rabbit hole the way you did if you're Goody and Mark and everybody else up there. So,
wait, what does that mean?
I can't imagine.
What does that mean, the rabbit hole? Of just going to the Jets, or you should have played
No, if you're
going
to trade him, you should have just said,
you might keep him.
I'm going to get the most. I want to get the most I can possibly get. Fair open market. Here we go. Because you saw reports, and I don't know if Carolina or New Orleans or any of these teams would have opened up and said, we're interested. Let's start talking comp. Had Green Bay wanted to get a 1, you're much better off opening it up to everybody than you are here. So now you kind of, well, this is a fit. Who is going to be, after you plan out, you pick up, Carr goes down to New Orleans, Jimmy goes to the Raiders. You have these teams that this is a big cap hit and a lot of money that you're putting in. If you really wanted to do this, you needed to do this right from the jump. You didn't. And while Bruce's point is it's fair, you could open that up and trade to an NFC team because you don't. Then you're really telling your fan base, we're okay with him, and your Minnesota Vikings didn't get.
Correct.
Brett
Poison
Favre.
pill and everything.
So if you're okay with trading him to the Detroit Lions, would Detroit take him? Detroit would play him above Jared Goff if all things are equal. All things aren't equal, and that's why you're limited with your opportunities, and that's why your leverage isn't as strong as I think most Packer fans feel like it is. And that's why this deal at some point is going to get done with the Jets. And all of this other stuff is fodder to be filled because now all the NCAA tournament's done. They're not quite ready for draft talk yet. And a lot of this info. But it is, Bruce brings up, I found it very interesting if that's the mentality Packer fans have. But that should have been the mentality early on, is saying, just like I thought it was crazy the Minnesota Vikings let the Green Bay Packers get Christian Watson because they got the best deal back. if you don't want Aaron as your quarterback anymore and you're only focused on your football team, then you should have traded him to the highest bidder, and that could have been the Bears. That could have been Minnesota. You don't know because you never even opened up that opportunity for those teams to get in the mix.
All right, so we've got a couple of clips that we want to play for you. One is from Harry Douglas talking about Jordan Love. The other is from our buddy Mike Tannenbaum, who appeared on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max talking about Aaron Rodgers needing to spend as much time as possible in the Jets camp. So, Jesse, which of those did you want to do first, since you worked very, very, very hard to curate them?
Forgot what Tausch wanted me to cut earlier already. Forgot about that. Sorry.
So, don't worry. So is
just cut that. Caitlin Clark in Iowa if they make the Final Four. That's what I wanted you to cut.
Let's do Tannenbaum first, since it kind of pertains to what we're talking about here about trading Rodgers. So this is Mike Tannenbaum from Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. And he was talking about as soon as Rodgers can get to the Jets, they'll take him.
The core of the Jets offense is still extremely young when you think about guys like Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson in particular. And I understand the first phase of the offseason program, guys, isn't, there's not a lot on the field, but every day they're together, it's a good day. And it could be going out to dinner. It could be understanding how they learn best. All those little things will go far down the road. So to me, if I'm the Jets, I would love to get this done before the offseason program begins.
Not to be Mark Tauscher here.
No blank.
No blank. Duh.
Okay, Mike. Hey, I get it, Mike. It's tough. I mean, you have to continually find new and unique ways to talk, but we all, spending time with people makes you understand them better. Yeah, we get that. I'm sure the Jets would love to have Aaron Rodgers in yesterday. I get the sense Aaron doesn't care if he's in today or tomorrow. I think it would provide him more cover to not go to OTAs and minicamps if he's not there. And I don't think he wants to be there. I think he wants to come in July with his workouts and everything else and be ready to roll in July. But I think he knows, because the Packers have made it a point to him. I think the fact that it's a new team with very young wideouts, just like Green Bay had, I think he knows in his heart of hearts it's in his best interest, and more so in the New York Jets' best interest, for him to be there earlier than what he did last year. And I think if he isn't available to do that, he is given cover to not even have to discuss it because, Green Bay was being unrealistic and I couldn't get there.
So there's a couple things here. One, I agree with everything you said there, which I know makes for great radio. But I also think that if you had to give him the choice between being there and reaping the benefits of being with these young new players, that he's the new guy, which is different than the Packers dynamic last year, or keeping the price tag low for acquiring him and screwing the Packers and keeping as many picks as he can for his own new team, the Jets, he is picking the latter option every day of the week and twice on Sunday over the value that there would be of him coming to the offseason program.
And what drives that for him more? His spite of the Green Bay Packers or his I want my new football team to be positioned in a good spot?
No,
if you're polling that, which you think it's more spite?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Don't you? I mean, the other part's great.
I would hope not.
But I would hope not. You know that it is.
I know, but I do think the best way to get spite back at the Green Bay Packers is to be really successful.
Oh, the best revenge is living well.
But it is.
It is. It is. That said, I think he wants Goody. I think in his heart of hearts, if he had a dream scenario, it would be,
I like this.
You trade a third-round pick to the Packers for him this year, even though you don't have one anymore. And then Goody botches the pick like he has for all his other third-round picks, and Aaron Rodgers has a big grin on his face a blank-eating grin on his face over that. Now, the other thing I would say about the offseason program, though, and again, I think Carlos maybe was the one on Twitter that pointed this out, that I was being brainwashed through off-the-record conversations. Maybe. But I do think this. I think if Aaron Rodgers could set the agenda for how his involvement in the offseason program would be, like, and again, I know there have been other quarterbacks that have had certain things that they wanted as part of, like, kind of superfluous things that they wanted. Like, Russell Wilson wanted an office. We know that didn't go very well. And we know that Sean Payton has decided that there will be no office this time around. But that was one thing. Tom Brady wanted his guy, his TB12 guy, right? Inside the building. I think what Rodgers wants is his team from California, his acupuncturist, his massage therapist, his ayahuasca brewer, whoever it is, he wants them in close proximity. Now, I don't know if they're willing to come to New York or Green Bay or San Francisco or wherever he might be playing, but I do think that is something that he would want because he believes that is part of his preparation for the coming season. But as I would argue to him, well, can't you get them to come to wherever you are? And then you can also participate with your team that needs to get to know you, or in the Packers' case last year, young guys who need to get to know you. That would be my position on that. If he has that scenario, I don't think he wants to shirk the offseason program with the Jets, with his new team and one of his favorite coaches ever and all that. I just think he wants to do it on his terms, which, oh, by the way, let's be honest, is how he lives his life. On my term. Like, I mean, he wants to do everything on his terms. And this would be another case of that. So if you do it under his terms, he'd be happy to come. That's my view. I put a bow on that. I think that's what I did there, without announcing that I was putting a bow on it. Let's play some trivia. Jesse, what's today's category, and what caller would you like?
It is a Badgers Trivia Tuesday.
We're still doing that?
I think today is going to be the last one. We got the spring practice.
Last week should have been the last one.
We had some news in the
last
week.
week. Should have been the last.
Now, today will be the last one.
By the way, I was at Fiserv Forum Sunday night. What did I looked up in the old rafters, and I saw D. Wade, and I saw Final Four. You know what else I saw?
The Badger Hockey Showdown Championship banners for the Badger hockey team.
1970 NIT champs. Mark.
You know why that is, right?
And they moved that. So they've moved that to at least 2 different buildings, right? From where they won the championship. So that is not some like, oh, they hung an NIT championship, just so we all are on the same page.
Okay, but just a little bit of a history aspect to that. That was when the NIT...
I'm always interested in learning.
That was when the NIT was actually more significant than the NCAA tournament.
Okay.
Then
they have 2... So are they considered 2-time champs?
That's a good question for Homer, who is scheduled to appear tomorrow. I don't
put that down, Jesse.
Yeah, and also look up that audio that Tausch wanted cut. Jesse, what Badger Trivia Tuesday? I'd rather have Aztec Trivia Tuesday, quite frankly.
We can call it season finale of Badger Trivia Tuesday. It might make a special off-season appearance. No, the season technically ended last Tuesday night, which would have been after the most recent Badger Trivia Tuesday.
It's a reach.
Yeah, it's a big stretch.
Caller 7, 844-770-3776. Caller 7 right now, 844-770-3776. Caller 7 for Wilde and Tausch Trivia. I was driving yesterday, and a license plate on I-43 had Linda in the vanity plates. Unfortunately, I couldn't fumble with my phone quickly enough. I did not get a look at the driver, so I don't know if it was Big Linda or Medium Linda or Petite Linda. And I would have liked to have sent that along. I didn't. But if it was Big Linda, she, like us, might be interested in some of the studies that LabCorp has going on right now.
Indeed, Jason. And who's not looking for a little bit of extra spending money now? You had down payment for a home. If you're going to go buy eggs, it looks like gas prices are starting to flip at home reno. And if you are looking for a little extra cash, LabCorp has it for you right now. They have studies for healthy adults ages 18 to 60 with a body mass index between 18 and 32. That study involves 1 stay of 8 nights plus 7 follow-up visits. You could be compensated up to $10,328 plus you receive up to $300 per qualified participant. They also have a trial where they're looking for healthy, overweight males and females ages 18 to 55. The females must be of non-childbearing potential with a BMI of 30 to 39.9. This study involves 1 stay of 6 nights and 2 follow-ups. You can be compensated up to $3,700 for your time and your participation. Go to LabCorp, clinicaltrials.com. That's LabCorp.
Better.
Clinicaltrials.com. Hit or miss.
Trivia's next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcasts for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Drew and Jonathan Scott here to tell you that American Family Insurance wants to protect your dreams. So whether you're at home singing in the shower,
Every note,
or prefer singing your heart out in the car like Drew,
cruising.
you can save up to 23% when you bundle your home and auto insurance with American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It's Jeff Levering for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Up to bat is Pella's award-winning Easy Slide innovation. Look at that effortless horizontal window slide, letting in lots of light. And that roll, it's a double play. Like magic, the screen disappears when the window is closed. On deck is Pella's Reserve Series patio door, featuring the best lifetime warranty in the industry. Just look at that slide. It's a perfect fit. Order by April 30th and get 0% for 48 months at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply.
If you have joint pain and they're telling you surgery is your best option, please stop what you're doing and call QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Tony Smith. The professionals at QC Kinetics use the latest, most advanced regenerative treatments to bring lasting pain relief the natural way. Regenerative medicine harnesses your own body's healing agents to restore and repair damaged tissue in your knees, your hips, your shoulder, and back. The precision treatments are done in the office with no drugs and no downtime. QC Kinetics has hundreds of clinics all over America and thousands of satisfied patients. If your joints are aching from arthritis or injury, look beyond steroids and surgery and discover the amazing possibilities with regenerative medicine. Especially this time of year, you need to be living life to the fullest and doing the stuff you love to do. If you can get relief and avoid going under the knife, doesn't it make sense to check it out? Call QC Kinetics now. It's a free consultation, no obligations. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Don't wait. 414-285-3474.
Homer, Tony, living in perfect harmony. Yeah, right.
I think Rodgers is happy because he wants to play somewhere else. The Packers are happy because they want him to play somewhere else. And the Jets are happy because they want him. Tony, isn't everybody happy?
No, everybody's being spiteful right now. Happy people aren't spiteful.
So who's being spiteful?
No one.
So I know.
Everybody.
Listen to Homer and Tony weekdays from 2 to 4 on 94.5 ESPN and wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand. Discount Liquor Easter Week is here on 94.5 ESPN. With over 1,400 varieties of beer, liquor, and wine in stock, Discount Liquor has the selection, everyday low prices, expert service, and the convenience of 2 locations. It's the perfect spot to find a great drink for your Easter meal. Located in Milwaukee at 51st and Oklahoma and downtown Waukesha at Main and Barstow. Discount Liquor is a family-owned and operated business. The Discount Liquor family wishes you a happy Easter.
Are you ready for summer? Cousin Subs and Summerfest are teaming up once again for the return of the world's largest music festival with a special ticket offer. Simply place an order online at cousinsubs.com of $30 or more now through April 30th and receive a free weekday Summerfest ticket. This offer is not valid in store. One qualifying purchase per day per email will result in a free weekday ticket. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. For complete list of rules, visit cousinsubs.com/Summerfest.
With a local Milwaukee team, Fifth Third Bank knows what success looks like. They've been serving businesses and individuals in the area for nearly 15 years, including a long-standing commitment to the healthcare industry. From expansion to technology to reducing the risk of fraud, Fifth Third offers a full suite of financial services and solutions across the healthcare spectrum to meet the complex moments you're navigating. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, custom solutions built around your goals, member FDIC.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Going old school Rihanna, DJ Jazzy Jesse. Let's play some trivia. Let's also welcome in our contestant. It is Lee in Cottage Grove. Lee, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
Congratulations on being the final contestant in Badgers Trivia Tuesday until what, August?
We say that, and then like something might happen in June, and then it becomes Badger Trivia Day because it's timely. But the plan would be for it to return in August.
All right. Before we start, I just want to confirm as I go through, you have confirmed that all three of these questions contain correct answers and names that actually are in fact involved in these said questions.
Did a little extra research this morning just to confirm. Yes.
Lamont Jordan is not a correct answer.
No. Nor is Lamont Butler. One of the great runners-up of all time. Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. Badgers Trivia Tuesday, Lee. Tausch has question number 1.
All right, Lee. Which Wisconsin men's basketball player, as an April Fool's joke on social media, shared over the weekend he'd be switching his jersey number from 3 to 99 next season? Is it Connor Esigian, Chucky Hepburn, or Brad Davison?
Connor Esigian.
Brad Davison, just 99 years of eligibility. Question 2.
That's not bad.
Thanks.
That's not bad.
Thanks very much. I know the Bus family loves our show. That was meant in the spirit of...
You think Connor got a lot of laughs for that tweet? You think a lot of laughs came from
You know
that?
what kind of laugh he probably got, Jesse? You know what kind of laugh he probably
got? Now that's funny.
Thank you. Question 2. Question 2, Lee. Mike Hastings was introduced yesterday as the new head men's hockey coach at the University of Wisconsin. At which school was Mike Hastings previously the head men's hockey coach? Was it at Massachusetts, Michigan State, or Minnesota State?
That'd be Minnesota State.
And that used to be Minnesota Mankato, right? Mankato State?
They did a rebrand. Yep, Mankato.
Was it Minnesota State where Craig T. Nelson coached in the show Coach? Was it that Minnesota State?
It was definitely in Minnesota.
Jesse's
it was
looking
in
at me.
Minnesota.
He has no idea what I'm talking about right now.
Mr. Incredible.
Craig T. Nelson was on a sitcom on ABC where he was a coach. He was a football coach, and I swear it was Minnesota
used to get FOMO.
State.
I used to get
Shut
FOMO
up.
every time I missed that show.
You don't even understand what FOMO is.
All right, last one, Lee. Which of these teams is not currently scheduled as a regular season opponent for Wisconsin football over the next 4 years? What kind of question is this? Is it Alabama,
perfect week,
Notre Dame, or Oklahoma?
Can you repeat that, please?
Certainly.
Thank you
Which
very
of
much.
these teams is not currently scheduled as a regular season opponent for Wisconsin football over the next 4 years? Bama, Notre Dame, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Lee, you crushed this.
Lee knows is blank. Lee knows is blank.
Well done. By the way, via Wikipedia. Lee, I don't know how old you are. I would never ask you that, or your social security number, or your weight, or your net income. But I will ask you, do you remember the show Coach on television?
I do. I don't think I really watched it, but I think you're right. I think it was Minnesota State.
Via Wikipedia, Coach
Dauber was on that show. Dauber.
So apparently you didn't FOMO many episodes. Coach is an American sitcom television series that aired for 9 seasons on ABC from February 28, 1989 through May 14, 1997 for a total of 200 half-hour episodes.
Wow.
Craig T. Nelson played Hayden Fox, the head coach of the fictional NCAA Division I-A Minnesota State University Screaming Eagles. And for the last 2 seasons, Coach Fox and his supporting characters coached the Orlando Breakers, a fictional National Football League expansion team. Lee, that was a great show. This was a great showing by you. You got all 3 rights. You got 4 total entries into Friday's drawing. Thanks for playing.
Thank you very much.
Did you really need to keep Lee, who I'm sure has other stuff going on in his life? We complimented him on crushing trivia, and he did. He knew everything and didn't even blink. Mm-hmm. And then you hold him over after he tells you he never watched the show, and you give him this info like he's just chopping again. He wanted to get off the phone 2 minutes ago, and you tell him all about Craig T. Nelson and episodes. Did at any point in your head register to say, I should maybe just let Lee go before I finish this Wikipedia read on the radio?
The program also starred Jerry Van Dyke as Luther Van Dam and Bill Fagerbakke as Michael Dauber Dybinski, assistant coaches under Fox. I had more. I stopped out of my consideration for Lee's time.
What was better, Coach or Cheers?
Oh, come on.
Oh, my gosh.
Don't insult. Come on.
To me, they're like, I don't know.
There was a coach on Cheers. Is that why you're doing
this? That's why I was a little confused.
You have no
first.
idea.
I was like, Ted Danson and Craig T. Nelson aren't the same.
Now who's wasting people's time?
Cheers is one of the most iconic television shows in the history of television.
Like MASH, Cheers, Seinfeld.
Well, first off, MASH isn't ahead of Cheers. Like, let's get serious. It's
I don't know, Jim.
Cheers ran 11 years.
Not in my world.
Coach ran for 9. It's about the same longevity.
Thank you for playing. Let's move on. That's amazing.
Did I besmirch Cheers? Like, what did I do? I don't get it. I just asked the question.
You totally besmirched Cheers.
Yeah, that's a slap to the face of all of us that love the show Cheers.
I'm not. Now I'm curious to know if old people would put Cheers ahead of MASH. Like, MASH is like among the definitive television shows in history. So is Cheers.
Yeah, MASH. They had some laughter. Cheers was Laugh-a-palooza. MASH, I didn't watch very many episodes. I don't even know if I've ever watched. There was the Alan Alda.
So MASH is the college basketball of old school TV for you.
Well, I'll say this. MASH had memorable episodes that I could, even though I'm a casual MASH person, I can recall.
MASH
not so much with this
Duke, Carolina, Villanova, and Kansas in last year's Final Four.
MASH is the Final Four of TV sitcoms. A lot of times
and then
it's great,
iCarly
sometimes it's
sneaking
not.
in as San Diego State.
Jason, if you did have to put a Final Four of sitcoms in the glorious sitcom era, which I would put probably 1970 to 95, 96, because TV started fraying early 2000s.
Sure.
What would be your Final Four? We'll get to that, unless you have a...
No, Jesse
Next,
Scott
it's
won't know
Wilde
he's scheduled. Yes, great. Good work.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. It's time for the Milwaukee Baseball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart at 16th and National in Milwaukee. Packed with the best beer, liquor, seltzer, and spring deals in town. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, where your satisfaction is their plan of action.
The Brewers bat started to wake up against the Cubs after an opening day shutout in Chicago, getting wins on both Saturday and Sunday. 3-1 on Saturday with some clutch William Contreras hits late, followed by a 9-5 win on Sunday. Jesse Winker helping break that one open.
Merriweather ready in his pitch. Swinging a line drive left center field, headed towards the gap, down. 2 runs will score as Yelich streaks to third. Brewers advance their lead to 5-2.
Brewers have come away with the series win and now take on the New York Mets in the home opening series to start the week.
This has been the Milwaukee Baseball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart.
Milwaukee, are you ready to guac?
It's almost National Burrito Day.
In honor, Qdoba is hosting the first ever World Burrito Eating Championship at the Beer Garden in Deer District on Thursday, April 6th. Doors open at 11 a.m. Professional Major League eaters are set to crush the flavorful World Eating Championship Burrito. Qdoba invites up to 500 people to this free event with games, tasty samples, music, and prizes. Make plans now to be at the Beer Garden in Deer District on Thursday afternoon, April 6th to celebrate with Qdoba.
Kessler's is America's largest employee-owned diamond store.
It's the diamond store where the owners think like you do.
As shoppers, we want better prices and more choices.
That's why we give you better prices and more choices.
We don't try to choose for you. We let you choose.
You can choose a diamond from a diamond mine.
A diamond as old as the earth itself.
You can choose a created diamond from a plasma chamber.
A diamond as new and fresh and sparkling as springtime.
And now you can choose a flickering firelight diamond.
Flickering firelight diamonds sparkle with a rich and regal golden glow.
At Kessler's, you choose from 3 different kinds of diamonds.
3 different kinds of diamonds.
Earth diamonds from diamond mines.
Created diamonds from plasma chambers.
And flickering firelight diamonds with a rich, regal golden glow.
We like to have choices, so we give you choices.
Kessler's is the diamond store where the owners think like you do.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Find the Kessler's nearest you at Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
That poor shotgun of yours. It only sees the light of day during a hunting trip or 2 each year. Don't you think that bad boy deserves to be fired year-round?
Bring it to Waukesha Gun Club, one of Wisconsin's largest shotgun-only clubs.
Their Sporting Clay League begins April 29th with trap leagues on May 13th.
Form a team with other friends of neglected shotguns or join a team of your own.
Waukesha Gun Club has over 98 acres and is the perfect place for business or family fun outings.
Learn more at waukeshagunclub.org.
Did you know that when you make time to do 3 simple things each day with your children, talking, reading, and singing, you're helping to shape and strengthen their brains for the years to come? I love to look at the pictures in a book and notice little details about the characters. I pause along the way to ask my child to wonder about how they might feel. When you ask open-ended questions like, "What do you notice?" or "What do you think will happen next?" you're inviting them to be curious. All these rich conversations help develop both their vocabularies and their thinking skills. And it's a great way for you and your child to bond and discover the world together. As a father, helping my child is the most important thing to me. Each of us has the power to create a strong start for our children by talking, reading, and singing with them from the moment they're born, and help them to enter school ready to learn and succeed in life. Visit talkingisteaching.org for free tips, resources, and ideas on how to transform everyday moments into magical moments for learning.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Final four of popular TV sitcoms. Do you have yours? Or am I just doing mine?
have three. I have three. This just got thrown at me too quickly to solidify the four.
You threw it.
I understand. Well, Jesse started this with the Seinfeld and Cheers are no-brainers for me. Like those are two of the goatest of goaties. I think I'm probably going to go Office is another one. I love the show. It's
never
really
seen
fantastic. And then I'm going Dallas as my fourth.
You said sitcoms.
Yeah.
That's not a sitcom. That's an hour-long drama.
Listen, there's a lot of funny stuff that goes on in that show. My list is on the court, as whatchamacallit from Hoosier said. My list is on the court.
All right, Norman Dale. Also, this is like having an NBA team in the Final Four. Like Dallas is completely they're not another college team. Like you want to change up yes, exactly.
It's not a bad idea having the Final Four champion team play the worst team in the NBA. That's not a bad idea. I'd like to see that.
Let me present you this, guys. So our friends at 95.3 WBEV in Beaver Dam.
Oh, the Beef.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
DailyDodge.com.
So they
sister station to ESPN Beaver Dam, where you can hear this program.
Throughout the month of March, they did a TV sitcom bracket on their morning show.
Okay.
So their final four, after all the voting commenced, was MASH, Andy Griffith, Home Improvement, and the Flintstones.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's absurd. No offense to the Beef, that's absolutely absurd.
All right, so among the considerations for this conversation, say maybe the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8 teams that might have been in the conversation but fell short of the Final Four. The Cosby Show, I understand Bill Cosby is problematic now. Friends, also problematic for a lack of diversity, apparently. Even Jennifer Aniston referencing that recently.
Well, what is Andy Griffith? If you're going to start going diversity, let's slow that roll down a little bit, okay?
I'm just going through some of the teams that have either been put on probation or didn't reach the Final Four, okay? Now, the Golden Girls would be one of my, Elite
no
Eight
diversity.
teams.
Nope.
Whoa, Nelly! Everybody loves Raymond, who works less than any other sports writer I've ever heard of.
Nope.
Whoa, Nelly! 30 Rock and Parks and Recreation, kind of some new school ones.
Okay.
Whoa, Nelly! I'm still all right. Could you just keep being dismissive until I get to one that piques your interest? Okay?
No, I'm going to continue to be dismissive because that list is absurd.
San Diego State,
Third Rock,
Princeton.
You think
it was extremely popular? I'm just saying.
30 Rock. There's Third Rock and the Sun, which is a different show.
What about some of the ABC Family Night sitcoms? Full House, Growing Pains, Urkel. Do those have any appeal to you? Different Strokes, The Facts of Life. Am I ringing any bells for you?
Jason, what did I say?
Whoa!
Did I not Norman Dale you?
As your fourth sitcom.
Did I Norman Dale you? Did I put my four on the floor?
All right.
I did.
Yes, you did. All right.
You can argue and fight me on them.
I'm not fighting you at all. Believe me. I have given up fighting you. Two others that I'd like to know, are they considered eligible? I Love Lucy and The Simpsons.
Jason, everything is, if it was on TV,
no, I'm not asking
acceptable.
you. I'm not asking you because you have Dallas and your team is on the floor, as you've made it very clear. I'm asking Jesse because you've been very clear. Dallas is your fourth team.
Primetime
In a
evening
sitcom
soap
competition.
opera drama is what it's listed as on the Internet Movie Database, IMDb.
I'm just asking about The Simpsons because apparently the Flintstones made the cut in Beaver Dam. If The Simpsons are a sitcom, animated though they may be, they probably have to be in the Final Four. I would say, even though I've never watched The Office, I would say Seinfeld, The Office, and Cheers are the three blue bloods of the tournament. The fourth one is where you can choose kind of whatever you like, whether it was Friends if you're a 90s person, whether it's The Simpsons, whether it's Home Improvement or Growing Pains if you're an 80s person, whatever it is. Some might say Dallas or Falcon Crest.
Star Trek.
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you guys this, because you think of great TV moments.
Sanford
like
and
the
Son.
biggest of big. The biggest of big. MASH's Ender, where they have the little stones lined out at the end when the helicopter's leaving.
Highest rated non-sports show in television history.
The Iowa-South Carolina
MASH,
Women's Final Four of sitcoms, yeah.
So MASH deserves some credit. But there is nothing bigger than when they said, who shot JR? That was like presidents talking about. It's one of the all-time deals. So to act as if that moment doesn't spring Dallas onto the next level, it does.
But they're not playing in this tournament. They're not a sitcom, Norman Tail.
Jason, that moment is one of the iconic moments in TV history.
No one's disagreeing with you. It's just we weren't doing a Final Four of the most iconic moments in television history.
Who's going to win the NCAA tournament? The Bucks.
That's not how this works, but.
Whoa, Nelly.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa, Nelly!
On Wilde and Tausch.
Are Laverne and Shirley and Happy Days also
yeah,
sitcoms?
they're there. And I would expect that people of a certain people of a certain age would be completely on board with that. It's not mine. Again, this is my Final Four, not yours.
But you put
not Jesse's.
You put a drama soap opera in your list.
Fresh Prince.
There's another one.
That'd be in the mix.
It still loses
not
to
in
Dallas.
mine, but in the mix.
He put Dallas in because,
for me
quote,
it does, yeah.
there was a lot of funny stuff going on.
Bobby
There
Ewing,
was.
not really dead, just in the shower. Victoria Principal.
Yeah, one of the more I'm telling you, one of the more iconic moments in the history of television gets Dallas ahead of some of these other, whatever you want to call them. So. Was MASH a comedy, by the way? Was it comedic?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was. Set against the hilarious backdrop of the Korean War?
Yeah. Nothing says humor like war.
Sitcoms can have serious moments. Sitcoms are not.
Thanks, Jesse. Hey, thank you
Well,
for breaking
apparently
it down
we need
for
to
me.
go over this with you because you've listed Dallas as a sitcom.
That's fair. That's a fair retort. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whoa, Nelly!
Okay, today is National Hug a News Person Day.
When I think of great sitcom actors and actresses, I think of Victoria Principal.
Oh, I bet you thought.
And
I
Patrick
bet
Duffy.
you spent time thinking about Victoria Principal.
Not
I
for her,
bet.
Not for her comedic timing.
If you're talking longevity, there's no better sitcom than Law and Order SVU.
Whoa, Nelly!
Today is National Hug a News Person Day. How well does Jason Wilde have to know somebody to accept a hug from them?
Ooh, I'm not a news person. I'm a sports person. But I did see this on this morning's morning newscast right before Good Morning America on WBAY here in Green Bay, and they were hugging each other. I think, if as a quasi-public figure, I don't want random people just celebrating Hug a News Person Day by coming up and hugging me. If they see me when I go vote today or whatever it might be, no. I have been trying to get onto our list of topics for about a week now. Your responsibility when someone recognizes you but they don't know where. It has not made the cut, which is why I don't really contribute many ideas to the program.
Oh, that's why.
Whoa, sure. Nelly.
Whoa, Nelly! Oh, God.
Matt and Franklin can't forget the great sitcom ER.
Yeah, ER.
A lot of
you don't
funny
think ER had
going on in there?
A lot of funny things going on.
We'll wrap things up next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Kevin Red here from Mentality Men's Health. We hear stories every day in our clinics that what used to work for guys doesn't anymore. Increase cardio, cut out certain food, nothing stops the changes in their bodies, especially the weight. The fact is, years of decreasing testosterone has packed on the belly fat that won't go away. We've introduced a medication, semaglutide, that helps drop 15% of the body weight on average while preserving testosterone. Join the over 20,000 Mentality clients and jumpstart your results. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
Hi, it's John Reeds from Great Midwest Bank, and I've said it before. Life happens. For nearly 90 years, Great Midwest Bank has made the home loan process predictable through all those ups and downs. And today, GMB's simple and personalized approach to locally serviced, affordable home equity loans can turn your home's value into cash for whatever you want. Whatever your lending need, it's just a few clicks away. Apply online at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Jason Fitz.
I watch people in a volleyball league smack the heck out of each other and then talk their talk as they're walking by the net. You watch people in an intramural gym hit a shot, and all of a sudden, the same people that are out here complaining about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, who are actually epic at what they do, are the same people that are going to Twitter to complain about their sportsmanship when you know their fat ass would be doing the same exact thing in the gym if they had the opportunity to do it to somebody. I don't understand why we're sitting here saying that they can't act some kind of way when they're the best at what they do in the world, and they are fired up for the biggest moment that they can have in their sport, and there's a damn championship on the line, and you're telling me that they got to suddenly hold back and be different? Nah, we got to be different in the way we look at this, because athletes should be allowed to be the absolute personification of themselves at every time. I don't want Harry Douglas to be less than Harry Douglas. I don't want Angel Reese to be less than Angel Reese. This is simple.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
We see them every day. People driving using their phones. There's a sneaker peeker or the fast scroller who can quickly become the fender bender-er, the got a ticketer, or the driver who killed someone. Pay attention or pay the price. You drive, you text, you pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Breaking news.
Tax refund shock is everywhere, but what is it?
My tax refund shrank.
Mine too. The culprit? Pandemic-related stimulus payments and tax credits expiring. In this reporter's opinion, you need a tax expert.
Hey guys, Jackson Hewitt guarantees your biggest refund.
And tax prep is 50% off? Going there now.
50% off is a limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
We see them every day. People driving, using their phones. There's the sneak-a-peeker, or the fast scroller, who can quickly become the fender-benderer, the got-a-ticketer, or the driver who killed someone. Pay attention, or pay the price. You drive, you text, you pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
I wish I had handled the clock management better, because that poll about 4 and 13 finished 50.1% yes, 4 and 13 is fine, no, 4 and 13 is not acceptable, 49.9%. Wow. It was over 2,000 votes. So we're going to have to talk about that tomorrow, because we're out of time, other than Jesse has 2 sitcom-related texts that he needs to get to before we go.
These are amazing. From the 715, for longevity of sitcom, nothing beats 60 minutes.
It's not a half hour.
That's pretty good.
Jerry and the Prairie, Little House on the Prairie, Game of Thrones, Jaws, and Packers football. That's his final 4 of TV sitcoms, according to Tausch's rules.
Wasn't nothing funny about it last year. That is it for us today. I think we need to do some sitcomming again tomorrow. I wish this had occurred earlier in the program. Dallas.
Well, you reading about Coach and Jesse having no clue what that was, that's on you.
Coach wasn't even in Beaver Dam's bracket of 32.
Griffin. I just love the fact that you're talking about Friends not having any diversity, and then you go to Andy Griffith. That was beautiful.
Turns out that reading about Coach from Wikipedia, while it wasn't great for Lee, was great for the show. That'll do it for us
me.
Today. We'll do it again tomorrow. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free on Wisconsin On Demand.
Mark Tauscher here, and these days I am sleeping better than ever. I am so thankful I met with the great team at Advent to help solve my sleeping problems. The Advent team is so great to work with, and their consultations are very informative. The Advent team listened to my struggles, and rather than forcing a surgery, they helped me find the best solution for a better night's sleep. My family and I are so thankful the solutions from Advent worked. To see how they can help you with snoring, sleep apnea, and nasal breathing problems, go to adventknows.com, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
That poor shotgun of yours. It only sees the light of day during a hunting trip or 2 each year. Don't you think that bad boy deserves to be fired year-round?
Bring it to Waukesha Gun Club, one of Wisconsin's largest shotgun-only clubs. Their Sporting Clay League begins April 29th with trap leagues on May 13th. Form a team with other friends of neglected shotguns or join a team of your own. Waukesha Gun Club has over 98 acres and is the perfect place for business or family fun outings. Learn more at waukeshagunclub.org.
Host an unforgettable outing and create special memories with your crew at a Milwaukee Bucks game. Groups of 10 or more can score ticket savings, block seating, and take part in special activities on game days. Showcase your team's talents on center court, score a high five from the pros, and more. There are great options for groups of all sizes. Start planning your ultimate Bucks basketball game day experience today at bucks.com/groups. That's bucks.com/groups.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee, a Good Karma Brands radio station. The march to the postseason hits the Capitol tonight as the Bucks visit the Wizards.
Over to Holiday. He steps back, rains down a three from the right side, right in front of that Sixers bench.
Our coverage on 94.5 ESPN and the Bucks radio network gets started at 5:30 with tip-off set for 6.
Giannis with a stutter step, takes it into the paint, attacks the rack, sends it down with a grown man dunk.
The Bucks play on 94.5 ESPN.
Oh, the Greek Freak, he's eating now.
No one else does it like Scalzo and Brust.
He's just been botching everything.
Listen, he ain't built for a long, hard day of work. He's built for short spurts. He's not a marathon runner. He's a sprinter. So you should have known when he was doing Day of the Manager with me from 9 till 12 this morning that you are not going to get the best.
I agree, Tausch. This is all on Greg.
Yeah, you knew that. Scalzo, you should know.
Weekdays 4 to 6 on 94.5 ESPN. It's Scalzo and Brust, presented by Bud Light.
Year 17 in the Seaport District of New York City. This is Greeny with Mike Greenberg on ESPN Radio. You can also listen and watch the show on the ESPN app.
Back and better than ever, Greeny presented by Progressive Insurance on a wild day and a very big one for us. Pub day for Hembo and me. We will talk about that. I pretty much lost my mind on Get Up this morning, and you're going to hear why. But on this morning, there's only one place to start.
Here we go! Only one place to start.
I don't have it. You said there was something on my screen that I do not have. So my one place to start was going to be with some production that we had for the UConn Huskies, but unfortunately that is not actually on my screen, so we will not be able to play that. Oh, yes, we will. Here we go. Smooth as silk.
Rebound to Hurley for UConn, and how fitting. The coach's son is going to dribble out his dad's championship. 76-59. Every dog has his day, and this day belongs to the Huskies.
Westwood One's NCAA radio network with the call last night. UConn cuts down the final nets of the college basketball season after a tournament that was about as mad as March has ever been, in the literal sense of the word, the madness. And then they restored order to it all. They've won 5 championships since 1999. Theirs is the bluest of all the bloods in college basketball right now, and we will talk much more about them as we go. But I've been good enough, or they've been good enough, to hang out with me here. Mike Tannenbaum and Damian Woody after we wrap up Get Up this morning, and so I wanted to dive into some football conversation with them, and then we'll get back to the tournament and a whole lot of other things as we continue. But Mike Tannenbaum, you made me lose my mind on the show this morning, to the point that I actually took off my jacket and threw it to the ground like I'm Bob Knight. And by the way, delighted to hear that Coach Knight is out of the hospital, and we wish him the best. But when you suggested that with the 13th pick in the NFL draft this year, the Jets should do what?
Draft Hendon Hooker, quarterback, University of Tennessee, because I'm looking out for my friend Mike Greenberg, who's going to be a Jet fan in September of 2024, and as D. Wood had suggested as well, which is, look, Aaron Rodgers, we know it's a short-term marriage. Hopefully it all works out. But they got to also build for the future. And Hendon Hooker, to me, when it's all said and done, has unbelievable upside. And ideally, he sits a year behind Aaron Rodgers. The quarterback position goes from a strength to a weakness to a strength.
So D. Wood, I understand the point, because you had the audacity, if I may channel my friend Stephen A., the unmitigated gall to speak this blasphemy on the air as well. Under normal circumstances, that makes a lot of sense. But we all understand Aaron Rodgers is not a normal circumstance because he's an abnormal person. He is an unusual man. We all saw what happened the last time his team drafted a quarterback in the first round. You could be drafting him an offensive tackle and saying, Aaron, we are doing everything we can to make your 1 year here a championship season. Or you could draft a quarterback and say, Aaron, we're making sure that we're good at the position when you leave. How do you think that conversation would go?
Well, I mean, considering the person that Aaron Rodgers is, he's a pretty sensitive guy. I don't know if he'll go over all that great. I'm just saying, like, that scenario makes a lot of sense for the Jets if you think about it. Because where are the Jets going to be? We don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be around for just 1 year. He could be literally a one-year mercenary, like in New York, and decide to hang it up. This is the same guy that said before the darkness retreat he was 90% retired. What Bill Parcells used to say like all the time about, if you got your toe in the water, you basically retired.
Yeah, if you're talking about retirement, you are retired.
Yeah, so listen, if you're the Jets organization, don't you want to have your backside covered just in case that Aaron Rodgers is one and done?
Yeah, I get it. But again, these are here's what the Jets are doing. The minute this trade is consummated, and we do all expect it to happen, they are making their bed. They are all in. Yeah, right. They are the New York Aaron Rodgerses for however long he stays, whether it's 1 or 2 years. And you get it. And you're doing it because you think you can win a title with him in the short run. It is the definition of catching lightning in a bottle. So look, we've drafted quarterbacks in the first round in the last few years. How did that work out? One of them is bad, and the other one might be the worst player ever. So I'm not real interested in drafting another quarterback if I'm the Jets. I'm interested in trying to maximize my chance of winning while I have Rodgers.
And that makes all the sense in the world. But, Gree, let me ask you this. Put your GM hat on, which is Aaron Rodgers is here for a year and two. You have to draft a quarterback because when was the last time a really good quarterback in his prime changed teams? Like, you can make the argument maybe it was Kirk Cousins. It just doesn't happen.
I mean, it's happening right now with Lamar Jackson in theory, right? You could do that if you want to. And we are now living in an age, to your point, where we see quarterbacks changing teams in ways like they've become NBA stars, Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford. But more to the point, under this one unique circumstance, I'm willing to say, I'll let 24 take care of itself. I'm trying to win in 23. I'm putting all my eggs in the winning it now basket. So we'll see how that turns out. Nature Valley wants to see you and your family out there. When we share our love for out there, we inspire others to protect it, and that's what getting out there is all about. Nature Valley, life happens out there. Another idea we had this morning, D. Wood, and I liked this one, is if let's say you're the Indianapolis Colts. You have a couple of options. We have McShay's newest mock draft out today in which he has them trading up one spot, the Colts, one spot from 4 to 3 to take the quarterback Anthony Richardson from Florida, who is a project, who is unquestionably not going to be ready to play immediately, and you're giving up something to move up from 4 to 3. I don't know exactly what, but you're giving up something. The alternative to that, if you're the Colts, is to stay right where you are at number 4, take Will Anderson, the pass rusher, who many people think is actually the best player in this draft, and then as soon as the draft is over, call up Lamar Jackson and make a deal to bring him in. So now you've got Lamar Jackson and Jonathan Taylor on that team, and you've got an offensive coach. You go through that for me, who just came from Philadelphia where they ran something of a similar system. Like, that feels like a really good plan to me.
Absolutely. I mean, the new head coach in Indianapolis, Shane Steichen, I always said that the great coaches, they build a system around the personnel that they have. And we saw what Shane Steichen did in Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts. He built a really good system. Obviously, Howie Roseman did a great job of bringing in players to help Jalen Hurts out. But, in this particular scenario, I look at the Indianapolis Colts. They're not in rebuild mode right now. If you go look up and down there, they actually have a pretty decent roster. They're missing a quarterback. That's the area that they've been missing on, for the past few years, the quarterback position. You have a unique opportunity to bring in a guy who's 26 years old, former unanimous league MVP in Lamar Jackson. Think about what he would do for that organization moving forward. Now, it's a steep price you're going to have to pay, but that's the price you pay for a quarterback because it's a quarterback-driven league.
Yeah, so I think there's like pros and cons to it, guys, which is I think on the pro end of it, you get another great player, Will Anderson or Tyree Wilson. But the negative is, you're running the vulnerability of Baltimore matching. So, this whole time, it makes a lot of sense from a standpoint of I'd rather give up 2 picks in the future and presumably not as high as what the 4th pick overall. But now you're sitting there like for 7 days, you're really holding your breath.
So let me ask you this question, Mike T. Because the big question mark, and McShay brought this up when we talked about it on TV this morning, is drafting a quarterback costs you $30-something million in total guaranteed money over 4 years. And obviously, Lamar Jackson is going to cost something like 5 times that. Is anyone going to pay that? I mean, is he going to get $200-something million when this whole thing is said and done, from Baltimore or from anyone else?
No. I mean, and to the Ravens' credit, what they're saying is the Cleveland Browns are outliers. What Deshaun Watson got was crazy, aberrational, and here's 15 other deals. And right now, Greeny, like we could just, the old expression, let's go by what we see. Like, The answer is clearly he won't get that. He's going to play for $32 million.
Here's my question. I'm just throwing this out there. I wonder, why wouldn't Lamar Jackson take a shorter deal, like a 3-year deal, 3-year fully guaranteed? If the Baltimore Ravens, if the report is correct, the Baltimore Ravens had already offered him $133 million guaranteed, from the beginning. Why not take a shorter deal, fully guaranteed, and come back and get another bite of that? He won't even be 30 at that point.
I've suggested that for weeks, as others have. Like the great compromise here is 3 years fully guaranteed. Both sides could claim victory.
This could be one of the areas where not having experienced representation is a factor, right?
Because a good agent would keep saying to his client, and D-Wood's been on the other side of this conversation, what's going to make you happy? You're not going to get everything you want. So if you don't get A, how do we get B and C? Like, again, 3-year cash flow, some other incentive package. Like maybe if Deshaun Watson is apples, we're going to get you oranges, but these oranges are going to make you really, really happy.
I mean, look, that's a conversation that I've had too. It's not in sports, but anyone who has representation, you tell them this, I want all of this when you're negotiating a contract. I want these 10 things. And he comes back and says, okay, we can get you 7 of them. Are you good with that? And then you either are or you aren't.
Right.
But the difference between someone like me and someone like Lamar Jackson is if I'm not happy with it, the rest of the world is my options. If you're Lamar Jackson, you have very limited options because of the circumstance that he's in.
Absolutely. And, we always, I'm always in – listen, I've never been against players negotiating a contract, but you also have to know as a player, you don't have a buffer. That's the difference. You don't have a buffer, and you don't have the lay of the land as a player as well. And I think that's what's hindering Lamar Jackson in this situation is he's hearing all the direct information from Baltimore, and he doesn't have a lay of the land of what the rest of the league looks like, how they view him, and what a potential deal could look like.
And take that step further, like the complexities of when we get into like a sign and trade. Like last year, Devontae Adams was able to reach an agreement with the Raiders. The Raiders were like, we're not giving up 2 ones. And they were able to work out a deal between the Packers and the Raiders. In this situation, let's just say it was the Colts. 1 year, got the money worked out, and then maybe the Colts are saying, hey, we'll give you a 3 this year and then 2 1s in future years, but we're not giving up the 4th pick.
Greeny and Mike T and Mike Tannenbaum, excuse me, Mike T is Mike Tannenbaum, and Damian Woody in our studio. This is Greeny presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. One more before we let you go. Today, as I mentioned, is a very big day for us. It's a day that we've had circled on our calendar for almost a year now. We found out our publication date around that time, April 4th, 2023. Our book, Got Your Number, which we've been talking a lot about, is finally available today, and we'll talk a little more about the process in a few minutes. But in any bookstore in America, anywhere you order books online, our book, Got Your Number, is available today, in which we decide, with Hembo's exceptional research, who owns every number from 1 to 100 in sports history. And one of the hardest decisions we had to make was the number 21. We brought that up on the TV show today. Mm-hmm. So it seemed our finalists, we had 3 finalists. There were a lot of good options at 21, but our 3 finalists were Deion Sanders, Roberto Clemente, and Tim Duncan. Of that group, D. Wood, if it was your book, who gets it?
Well, on Get Up, I initially had said Deion Sanders, but the more I thought about it, Roberto Clemente, for me, felt like the right answer. Not only Hall of Fame baseball player, one of the best baseball players in history, but more importantly, what he did off the field, the philanthropic endeavors that he did off the field. And I didn't even know until you said it that basically the equivalent of the Walter Payton Man of the Year in baseball is named after him. So that just shows you like the stature he has in the game of baseball. So I would lean towards Roberto Clemente.
And I went with Tim Duncan. I wish I knew Roberto Clemente better because the story just seems incredible. But for me, I'm all about consistency. And for somebody to play their entire career and never miss the playoffs, and oh, by the way, win 5 championships, that works for me.
Well, that's one of the things. You couldn't really go wrong with making some of these decisions, but in our case, we went right 100 times. And you will find out who got 21 and all the other numbers if you honor us by buying our book. It's called Got Your Number. It's available today everywhere. And by the way, if you walk into a store today and it is not there, please tweet at us using the hashtag #GotYourNumber. Just hashtag #GotYourNumber. We'll be checking that all day long, and we want to make sure the book is everywhere it's supposed to be. So if you walk into a store and they don't have it, please let us know. All right, D. Wood, Mike T., you guys are the best. Thank you for nursing me through a challenging day with my arm. I'll explain that and more as we continue. Thanks for being with us. This is Greeny on ESPN Radio.
The 2023 NFL Draft.
So you ready for the draft? Let's get started.
Live from downtown Kansas City, Missouri.
The NFL Draft is officially open.
It all begins with round 1, Thursday, April 27th on ESPN Radio, ESPN, and on ABC.
With the first pick.
This is Greeny.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Get ready. Opening week is here. Brewers baseball returns April 3rd with a star-studded battle versus the Mets. The action continues with the showdown versus the Cardinals starting April 7th, featuring a buy one, get one beer offer for National Beer Day. Plus, collect the limited edition Giannis Brewers basketball jersey on April 8th. Don't miss the return of Brewers baseball. Get your opening week seats at brewers.com/tickets.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do, do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
A wide array of opportunities abound at Waste Management.
There's endless opportunities. Customer service. If you're in sales, you're able to have that one-on-one interaction with the customer and you get to see how this impacts your local community. Sorting through the recycle, that's an entire position. Making sure that there isn't anything that's getting thrown out that could be damaging to the environment.
Join the Waste Management family. Just search online. Waste Management Careers.
Cousin Subs wants to make you a VIP. On Saturday, June 4th, Donald Driver will be hosting his charity softball game at Fox City Stadium in Appleton, Wisconsin. Cousins and Double D are teaming up to offer you a chance to be their VIP guest. The VIP winner will win a package that includes a meet and greet with Double D and Jordy Nelson, VIP seating, food and beverage, and Cousins Subs for a year. Enter daily at cousinsubs.com/softball now through May 15th. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
Life's more rewarding at Blaine's Farm and Fleet, especially during our outdoor sale. Right now, get unbeatable deals on our quality selection of spring supplies for outdoor projects. Like all Livingston vegetable and flower seeds, 25% off MSRP. 20-pound bags of KT nut and fruit blend bird food, just $28.99. For welding projects, get 10% off all Steelworks welding stock. And rewards members save $100 on men's cat waterproof alloy toe boots. Shop our new Blaine's Farm and Fleet store in Grafton, located at 1771 Wisconsin Avenue.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? Scratch paint? Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of Right Choice Tax Resolution. I just finished writing a book about my experiences dealing with the IRS. It is already a bestseller. The IRS is the most ruthless collection agency in the world. They can seize your bank accounts, garnish your wages, and even take your house. The state can deny your professional license as a teacher, nurse, or other occupation. Do you want your employer to know about your problems? My book tells you what you can do so you don't have to worry about them ever again. Don't bury your head in the sand and hope the problem will go away. It will only get worse unless you step up and do something. We can help. We help reduce or eliminate penalties, negotiate payment plans, and represent you in tax audits. Make the right choice and go to rightchoicetax.us to book a call or meeting right now. We know you want to take the first step in getting the IRS off your back so you can live again. That's rightchoicetax.us.
Mark Tausch here for my friends at Kohler Services. Well, are you ready for a new shower? If you are, Kohler Services is a local end-to-end bath and shower design and remodel service brought to you by Kohler, a family-owned business in Wisconsin for over 150 years. Kohler is the only manufacturer offering fast, professional installation and care for life. Start enjoying your bath or shower right now with a special offer. Visit kswisconsin.com to request your free quote and tell them that I sent you. Again, that's kswisconsin.com.
Kevin Moret here from Mentality Men's Health. Guys, did you know that the stored belly fat reduces your free testosterone? The more the belly grows, the harder it is to drop, mostly because of the decrease in free T. It's a vicious cycle that men are losing, and unfortunately, everyone can see it. Mentality breaks that cycle with semaglutide, an industry-changing weight loss medication that can help you lose up to 15% of your body weight while preserving your testosterone. Join our over 20,000 clients to look and feel the way you deserve. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. But prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
One decision is in.
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
Don't touch that dial. It's all Packers and Rodgers talk right here, 94.5 ESPN.
Oh, yes. I like everything about this song choice. Greeny with you on ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance, as we have the assembled members of the hashtag crew assembled around us, Hembo, Bubba, and Cam. And Cam with the music choice here. Am I the only one who knows this song? Like, do I know it intimately. Does anyone else know this song?
Knows it.
Bubba, you know Tommy Two-Tone?
Oh, yeah, I said it right away. Great song. Yeah, I love this song.
867-5309.
Absolutely. Jenny, I got your number.
Jenny, I got your number.
Great phone number.
And of course, that is relevant to us today because today our book is out. It is called Got Your Number. And we thank everybody for the support of it early. And what we're going to do is we're going to take your thoughts on it today. We'll take some calls a little later. But if you have the book, if you're one of the people who was able to get one early, and they should be getting delivered by Amazon and others today, and you should be able to walk into a bookstore right now and buy it, then we'd ask you to do two things for us. One is tweet at us either way using the hashtag #GotYourNumber. Hashtag #GotYourNumber. One, tweet us any thought you have. You have a disagreement? That's what this book is about. It is about a combination of sports debate and sports history. The debate becomes because we chose who owns every number from 1 to 100. You're going to disagree with some of them, and we'd love to hear from you. So please tweet those disagreements at us using the hashtag #GotYourNumber. The other thing that you'd really help us is if someone tells you they don't have the book, it's not available, whatever that is, please let us know, because we can pass that information along to people who would be able to do something about it. So, again, using the hashtag #GotYourNumber, and we thank you for being a part of it today. Hembo, of the many things that I really have enjoyed about this process, and, you know, you've been at my side for over a decade, so being together through this has been a lot of fun. But at our book signing, we had a kid who was 9 years old who asked me a question about becoming a sportscaster, that he wants to be a sports announcer, and he asked me, what's good advice for someone my age? And to be honest with you, that's not something I'd ever really thought about. I have great advice for kids who are in high school and college, and I get asked that all the time because everyone has a niece or a nephew that wants to do my job. But not most of them are 9. And so when I thought about it, I really thought, and this might sound like a self-serving thought, but I actually think it is the number one reason why I am where I am today is because when I was a kid that age, I read books about sports history. So there's a reason that I know everything there is to know about Otto Graham, whose famous receivers were named Max Speedy and Dante Lavelli. I know everything there is to know about Red Grange. I know everything there is to know about Gale Sayers. I know everything there is to know about Hank Greenberg and Sandy Koufax. And I know everything there is to know about players, George Mikan and all the Sweetwater Clifton and all these players who came long before my time because I read about them. And so maybe what I'm most proud of in this book, and in some ways, like I don't really believe that people like me have legacies. When I'm gone, someone else will come and sit in this chair and they're going to do just fine. And if people generally don't remember Howard Cosell, they're sure as hell not going to remember me. But if there is some legacy I can have, maybe it is that young people will read this book and read the history. Because whether you agree or you disagree with the choices that we made, the book is about sports history. And I promise you that out of the 100 chapters, there will be at least one per chapter, so at least 100 times you will read something that Hembo dug up in the research that makes you say, wow, I did not know that. And so of all the things about the book, that is my advice, by the way. If right now you're 9 years old and you're in the car and your mom and dad are driving you someplace, that's my advice to you if you want to be in sports broadcasting, if you want to be where Jim Nantz was last night, and a tip of the cap to him as he broadcast his 32nd and final national championship game. And I sent him a note this morning simply saying, you have set the standard that all the rest of us aspire to. And I mean that as sincerely as I can. But anyway, reading books about sports history, ours, and of course many, 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 many others, is probably the best way to do it. So Hembo, of all the things about it, I think that's the one I'm most proud of.
Yeah, today is a dream come true for me for many of the same reasons that you just expressed. Because books like this, I guess, is as big a reason as any why I fell in love with sports at a young age. And if there's even literally one kid out there that winds up falling in love with sports the same way that I did, the same way that you did, as a result of this book, all of that work will have been worth it for me. There's no question about it.
So again, use the hashtag #GotYourNumber if you have thoughts on some of the choices that we made. Agree, disagree, we'd love to hear from you. And again, just as important, if you walk into a store and they don't have it, let us know. We will try and do something about it immediately. In the meantime.
Rebound to Hurley for UConn. And how fitting. The coach's son is going to dribble out his dad's championship. 76-59. Every dog has his day, and this day belongs to the Huskies.
Again, Westwood One's NCAA Radio Network for the call as UConn wins the national championship last night. And I see our friend Molly Karam is wearing her UConn sweatshirt today, and God bless her, as well she should. If that's your alma mater, what an incredible experience. For me at Northwestern, just when we get into the tournament, it's so exciting. I can't fathom what it would be like to win the whole thing, and they do it last night. And it was a terrific tournament. I thought the NCAA tournament this year was excellent. And even last night's game got interesting late. Like, it looked like it was going to be a runaway. And then San Diego State cut that thing down to 6. And they felt like they really had a shot there. And then just big shot after big shot Jordan Hawkins made and the Connecticut kids made, and they wind up pulling away for a win. The final score looks, I think, a little more one-sided than the game felt to me. But they win their 6 tournament games by an average of 20 points exactly. That is the 4th largest average win margin since the field expanded in 1985. They also did not lose a non-conference game this entire year. Hembo, I should have had you look this up earlier. It's the 4th largest average win margin since the field expanded. What are the 3?
So 1996, Kentucky. 26.
That was okay, so let's do this slowly. That was Pitino's team. They were unbelievable. That team was so good. I think that was Antoine Walker's team. Was he there? That was Pitino. So remember, they won back-to-back championships. Pitino won. Then he left to go to the Celtics, and Tubby Smith took over, and he won. That's how good that team was. So 96. All right, so they blew everybody out.
2016 Villanova.
They won their games by an average of 20 points.
That team was dominant.
Wow, I did not remember. Is that the team that won on the last-second shot by Chris Jenkins?
No,
or was that was the other one?
That was more recent. That was 2018.
No, that was 16.
Jenkins was 16?
For sure.
Okay.
So what was the 18 team? 18...
Those two teams blend
because
together.
Villanova, what I'm saying is that if that's the Jenkins team, they won that game by 2 points, right? Or it was tied. They won that game by 3 points because it's a 3. So the margin of victory of the other games must have been 1,000 if their average margin of victory was 20 points, right?
Yeah, that was yes. They beat Oklahoma in the Final Four, 95-51, for example. So they came in like on a runaway
95 to 51. Oh, I do remember that game. That was Buddy Hield.
You were there.
I think I was at that game. That was Buddy Hield was on that team.
That was the team, yeah.
And they killed them. And okay, so that maybe that.
And Kentucky, by the way, they won in 96, and then Arizona won in 97. They won again in 98.
Arizona, I think, beat Kentucky in the final.
Correct, yeah.
With Pitino. That's what it was. So Pitino went to the finals, and they had some kind of injuries in 97. I'm doing all this off the top of my head.
That was Lute Olson winning in 97.
That was Lute. Okay, very good. So it was Kentucky with Pitino in 96. He made it back to the final and lost in 97. Then he went to the Celtics, and then it was then Tubby won it in 98. Okay, good job there. And then what was the third one?
North Carolina in 2009.
The 2000, is that the Tyler Hansborough
yes,
team?
Wayne Ellington, Ty Lawson, Danny Green. That
who
team
did they beat?
Stacked.
Remember who they beat? Is that whatever you're looking at?
They beat Michigan State by 17 points in the championship.
Wow, I don't remember these games. I'm getting old. I've been very good at remembering this. You need to read a good sports book in order to remember all these things. Anyway, so UConn wins in dominating fashion. The Huskies, in the second halves of their games, I loved this of all the stats I got. So they win 6 games. 20-minute halves, that's 120 minutes. That's 2 hours of actual game time. In those 2 hours of actual game time, they trailed for a total of 55 seconds. That is domination, the likes of which we rarely see.
Yeah, and this is a team, let's keep in mind, they were a 4 seed, which, regardless of your opinion there, they should be considerably better next year. So they have 3 projected draft picks. It's Hawkins, Jackson, and Sonogo, but none of them right now are slotted to be lottery picks, which means this team might be back and better than ever next season should these guys want to return. And right now, Hurley is building something of a machine. It would not surprise me at all if all 3 of those players decided to come back next season.
So they're plus 1,200 for next year. I just saw these odds, excuse me, come across here. UConn is the favorite next year, then Kansas, UCLA, and Duke, and Kentucky. So it's the usual suspects, as that sport tends to be. Now, let me turn to Mr. Bubba here. Bubba is born and raised in Avon, Connecticut, which is the heart of Huskies country. I lived and worked up in that area for a very long time. So I know how much UConn basketball, men's and women's. I've never seen passion for women's sports like you get in UConn country, and for obvious reasons, because they've been so ridiculously good. And we'll get to the women here in a minute, because obviously that passion is starting to spread. But what I could not help but notice in the late 90s when I moved to Connecticut to work at ESPN was just how college basketball crazy the area is. So, Bubba, is this a day of celebration for you as a Connecticut kid?
No. I grew up disliking UConn basketball. Always did not enjoy them. Although the one caveat is I grew up a Hurley fan because of Bobby Hurley, so I am somewhat partial to Danny Hurley. That's the only unfortunate part. But no, I grew up hating UConn basketball. You
had a dog named Hurley, right?
Correct. Yeah. So. I became a Duke fan because of the Hurley family, our connection to the Hurley family in Jersey City because of that. So I became a Duke fan because of that. So I always loved the Hurleys, and I always hated UConn from that point on. My dad went to BC, so I've always just hated UConn. I literally refused to apply to UConn out of high school. I would not have gone there. I didn't want to go there. So all my friends are UConn fans, though. And yeah, I just have always hated UConn basketball. But once Danny Hurley went there, it was kind of annoying because I supported Hurley. I've always enjoyed Hurley. I've met him before when I went to the basketball camp, got his autograph when I was a kid, always liked him. So I had a feeling they were going to win at some point because I do think he's a good coach, and that was the one unfortunate thing. So it's a bit bittersweet in that sense. I'm a little torn, but overall, definitely not celebrating, not happy about it. Plus, they're, it's overall, they're, since 1999 doing quite well compared to Duke. So that's the one unfortunate thing.
He just brought up an interesting, did you want to jump in on that quick? Because he just made me think of something I had not thought
Go
of.
ahead.
Okay, I think this is actually fascinating.
You ask these questions.
Greeny's question of the day.
How close a friend or relative would you need to be on your arch rival team to root for them? Which is to say, I'll just use me as an example. The team I dislike the most by far of any in sports is the New England Patriots. I grew up hating the Dolphins more as a Jet fan, but in the last 20 or so, ever since Parcells, basically, that's been the rivalry. Who would have to be, and again, while I have nothing but admiration for Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, I root against them literally every game they play. Who would have to be on the Patriots for me to root for them? Like, if Stevie were drafted by the Patriots, I'd root for them. He's my son. I'm not sure there's any other option. Like, I think it might end there. Let me say this, Hembo. If they hired you to be the coach for the Patriots, I'd root against you.
For sure.
I say that with zero hesitation.
So if Stevie were a player, you say yes. What if he were a coach or a member of the front
office? No, I'd root
office?
for him. I'd root for my son.
You root for him?
Yes. That's it. I don't think it would go any farther. How about it? Cam, let me ask you. Who's the team you hate the most of any team? You're a Philly fan generally. Who do you hate? What team is your nemesis?
I would say the Cowboys probably most.
Okay. Who would have to be on the Cowboys? So let's go. Do you have a brother?
I do. He's 29.
If your brother was on the Cowboys, would you root for them to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think we're a little past that point, though. I don't think he's getting drafted.
No, I understand that.
Your son Stevie still has a chance.
Stevie doesn't have a chance.
He's at the age where he could be drafted.
Yes, he's 6'1", he weighs 140 pounds. I think the young man is a straight line.
So am I.
I mean, Bryce Young's getting drafted first.
Very little chance. Yeah, I guess that's true. All right, so Stevie aside, I don't think there's anybody else. How about, do you have any cousins you're close to?
Yeah, I don't think I would root for the Cowboys if they were on. If my brother was, yes, I would root for them.
Okay, cousin. Give me the name of a first cousin to whom you are close.
Daniel.
If cousin Daniel was on the Cowboys, he could become the coach. He could become like their head of stats, like their analytics guru.
That's very different.
Would you root for them?
If he was the coach, then yes. If he was just the stats analyst, I would hope that he messed up
just
the
stats analyst. You're now diminishing the stats analyst?
Well, you're equating head coaching to stats analyst. That's very different.
I mean, he's a member of the organization. What if he was the director of sales and marketing? If he was employed by the Dallas Cowboys, would you root for them?
If he had a higher up position, then yes, like a head coach or something like that.
It would have to be football related. Like if you're selling tickets for the Cowboys, no, for sure not. If you're calling plays, it's a different story.
I want to continue this line of questioning because I think it is an interesting one. I want to get Bubba's opinion on it, and I want to think it through because I think it is an interesting direction that we can take the conversation. We'll do that, plus, again, your response to the book, again, using the hashtag #GotYourNumber on Twitter, and a big change coming in the NBA, and I love it. We'll do all that after this word from FanDuel. Grand slams, no-hitters, double plays are back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. That's because right now, new customers can step up to the plate with a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Just go to FanDuel.com/play to sign up. FanDuel, the official partner of Major League Baseball.
21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Tennessee, and Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 or visit KESGamblingHelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia.
Don't move a muscle. It's ESPN Radio.
This is Greeny. Be more CyberZen. Get NordVPN. With a few simple clicks, NordVPN will block online trackers, secure your devices from malware-infected downloads, and block access to malicious websites. With NordVPN, enjoy internet without trackers, without malicious websites, without malware-ridden files. Be more CyberZen. Catch the special deal now at nordvpn.com.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
Hello, I'm David Figueroa, co-founder of Melinda's Craft Pepper Sauces. Over 30 years ago, my brother Greg and I set out on a mission to offer the world a better hot sauce. We felt that most hot sauces were just basic. And let's face it, basic is boring. Since introducing Melinda's Original Habanero Pepper Sauce, we've launched 31 more exciting and delicious sauces, like our Ghost Pepper Sauce, our Thai Sweet Chili, and our newest and best-selling Black Truffle Hot Sauce. People ask us, what makes Melinda's so good? Well, we think it's our approach to making sauces. We think like chefs do. Instead of just burning someone with hot peppers and vinegar, we use fresh plant-based ingredients like carrots, onions, garlic, limes, and the finest chili peppers to set your mouth on flavor. They're really fantastic, and once you try one, you'll want to try them all. And right now, get a 10-pack of our best-selling sauces with free shipping at melindas.com. That's melindas.com. melindas.com to see our line of craft condiments and to find a retailer near you.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor. If it's a celebrate or tailgate, when you're gonna recreate upstate. If it's a holiday, birthday, any date, you can save at discount liquor.
Easter's almost here. What are you bringing to the table? Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. Pairing the right wine with your Easter dinner can turn a meal into a celebration. But you don't have to be an expert to find the right wine. That's what our knowledgeable staff is here for. With over 8,000 varieties of wine, Discount Liquor can help you choose between a light, fruity Pinot Grigio, a big, luscious Cabernet, or anything in between, all at the lowest prices in town. Visit us today at 51st in Oklahoma and Milwaukee, and on Barstow and Main in downtown Waukesha.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings.
Check out all of our weekly specials at DiscountLiquorInc.com. Happy Easter!
Discount Liquor.
Life is supposed to be fun. With Best Burger Awards in the trophy case, peanuts raining from the ceiling, and boozy custard shakes, AJ Bombers is just plain fun. Located on Water Street in downtown Milwaukee, AJ Bombers is the perfect place for pregame grub. Prefer to watch the game from a bar stool? Enjoy great views from multiple flat-screen TVs while you cheer on Milwaukee's home teams with a smash-style burger and fried cheese curds. Visit AJ Bombers on Water Street or check out ajbombers.com.
From big tailgate parties to cozy dinners for two, the freshest ideas start with a stop at Century Foods.
Now through Wednesday, save on 24-pack 0.5-liter bottles, essential everyday natural spring water, $3.99. 8 to 9 ounce potato chips, 15-ounce pretzels, or 10 to 12-ounce tortilla chips, selected varieties, 2 for $5. 5 to 8 ounce package, selected varieties, Sargento Deli-style sliced cheese, 2 for $6. 19.5 to 34-ounce package, selected varieties, Sara Lee fruit or cream pies, $5.99.
Hey, why'd you throw my glass across the room?
I have to keep practicing.
The vase from Aunt Sophie?
I'm warming up in case I get to take them out at American Family Field. Read this.
Win the ultimate baseball fan experience at Century Foods?
You either get to throw out the first pitch, hold the finish line for the famous racing sausages, or be on the field during batting practice. My new TV!
Just doing a little batting practice of my own.
The ultimate baseball fan experience from Century Foods. Return the entry form found on the weekly ad to any Century by July 26th.
When it's time for an adventure on the open highway, one quick call to American Family Insurance gets you headed in the right direction. Our travel peace of mind package is there if you encounter a bump in the road. From roadside assistance to rental car coverage, we have you covered. Find a local agent or get a quote at amfam.com.
American Family Insurance.
American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
I'm Ben Jewick with Coakley Brothers and Brothers Interiors. 2023 is our 135th year in business, making it the perfect time for our crew to help you create a workspace that will help you attract, retain, and grow your business. The office is the cultural hub of the organization. We can help with interior design, construction, new furniture, and move management. Like Milwaukee's baseball team, our crew excels at home and on the road. If your company has a national facilities footprint, we can hit for you in any ballpark. Championship organizations are built on teamwork and collaboration. Visit brothersinteriors.com to see how we can help your team win.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? Scratch paint? Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde. Show your excitement for the Brew Crew's return with Brewers Checking from Associated Bank. You'll get a one-of-a-kind Brewers Debit MasterCard, 10% off at the team store, and VIP treatment with Express Check-In through the Associated Bank gate. And for the ultimate all-inclusive game day experience for your crew, check out the Associated Bank Power Alley Group Space. Featuring a full buffet and private bar, the Power Alley overlooks left center field. And who knows, the next Brewers home run could be headed your way. Learn more today at associatedbank.com/Brewers. Member FDIC.
Kevin Moret here from Mentality Men's Health. We hear stories every day in our clinics that what used to work for guys doesn't anymore. Increase cardio, cut out certain food, nothing stops the changes in their bodies, especially the weight. The fact is, years of decreasing testosterone has packed on the belly fat that won't go away. We've introduced a medication, semaglutide, that helps drop 15% of the body weight on average while preserving testosterone. Join the over 20,000 Mentality clients and jumpstart your results. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
It's deja vu for the Packers.
16 years is hard to forget for everyone.
It's deja vu for... Wait, am I really reading this again? It's the same script over and over.
18 years, man. That's always going to be home.
The latest on Aaron Rodgers, all day, every day, on 94.5 ESPN.
On ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance. For a job you'll love, visit progressive.com/careers. Congratulations, UConn, champions of the basketball world. Congratulations again the night before to the women of LSU, champions of the college basketball world. Great tournaments both. I mean, the NCAA tournaments this year were great. And as I've mentioned many times, because I was laid up with this heart issue, I watched more of the games this year than I ever have any other season, and I've never been more entertained. I'm not going to sit here and make a value judgment. It was the best tournament since this or that. I don't know. But what I can say is I can't recall being more entertained than I was by these games this year. They were terrific, and it felt like practically every one of them went right down to the buzzer, so it was really good. What are we getting at #GotYourNumber? Again, the book is available today. We ask you if you were kind enough to go out and want to buy it in person today. If you walk into a store and they don't have it, please let us know that. Tweet with the #GotYourNumber and just say, this store in such and such place didn't have it. We can do something about that. And then we also will take your questions about anything you've read in the book, Got Your Number. And what are we getting so far?
Todd Richmond tweets at us and says, so I'm curious, if somebody comes up with a legitimate and convincing argument why someone else should have had one of the numbers in the book, would you print a revision?
Well, there's no way to print a revision that quickly. But here's what I will say. There are two numbers already that if you could write a book and publish it the following day would be different. I'm going to say what the numbers are. I'm not going to say who the people are. But in my opinion, let me explain to everyone how this works. You write a book, you send it in, they do what's called putting it to bed. Like once it has gone to the printer, there's a point of no return. And we passed that. I don't remember exactly what the date was, but it was a long time ago. And then you can't make any changes. There are two numbers I think we might have considered changing. One of them is 15. The other one is 62. I think those are two numbers that we would have at least had to talk about significantly. I think 15 would have been a lock. 62 we would have debated and kicked back and forth.
I received another question like that yesterday. I was doing something on, it was Wisconsin Public Radio, about the number 34, which includes Walter Payton and Charles Barkley and Hakeem Olajuwon and David Ortiz. They asked me straight up about Giannis. How much more might Giannis have to do to be at the very top or near the top of that list?
I don't mind giving that one up. Walter Payton is who we chose for number 34. He owns the number 34 because, A, he was, in my opinion, one of the two best running backs that ever lived. As I write in the chapter, if you put together the all-time NFL team right now, the running backs, in my opinion, would be Jim Brown and Walter Payton. So that's why he gets the number 34 in a tough class, as you just pointed out. Now, we didn't even consider Giannis, I don't think, when going back to that. I don't think we really thought a lot about 34 because I wasn't going anywhere but Walter. But Giannis, look, I mean, could he make a run at a legitimate argument to it? Of course he could. He's a two-time MVP. He could win another one this year. He is an NBA champion. He could win another one this year. In fact, I think he has the best team. And he's still young. So could he eventually put himself into that class of all-time great? Absolutely. He isn't there now. To me right now, if you're comparing Walter Payton and Giannis Antetokounmpo in terms of their historical greatness and impact, it's not even close. But he could make it close. Who did you say? Hakeem certainly has to be. I mean, serious consideration. Sir Charles, I love and is a first ballot Hall of Famer and an all-time great. Not on the level of Walter.
There was also another number that someone asked, a very similar question about a contemporary athlete, and it was about number 8, which includes Kobe and Cal Ripken and Yogi Berra and Troy Aikman. They asked about Alexander Ovechkin, another one of these athletes who
very legit,
right? Same deal.
I have a buddy, a guy I play golf with. I hope he's listening. His name is Andy Isikoff, and he is a member at the same club where I am, and he's from Washington. He lives here in New York now, but he's originally from D.C. He's a crazy fan of the Capitals. And when I first told him about this idea, the first thing he said to me was, Ovi better be number 8.
The great 8.
And I said to him, well, you know, Kobe wore 8, and Lamar Jackson wears 8, and Cal Ripken, we didn't really consider Lamar Jackson, but that came up in an interview I did in Baltimore. Cal Ripken, 8, and Yogi Berra, 8, and he just looked at me and said, Ovi should be 8. So he's got support there. I'm going to give it away right now. We did not pick Ovi at number 8. You'll find out who we did pick, and we so appreciate the questions. It's great fun using the hashtag #GotYourNumber. I'll come back to the question that I brought up a minute ago, but first I want to do what I teased. The NBA has made a change, and I really like it. The NBA has put in their new CBA that for players to win the MVP award or make the All-NBA team and All-NBA team, both of which I am now a voter for, they have to play a minimum of 65 games. And that is probably a reasonable way to address the issue of load management and all the rest of that, because these players have a lot of financial connection to that. Many contracts, in case there's anyone listening who doesn't know that, include provisions for how much your contract can be worth, how much the max can be worth, and all that if you make one of the All-NBA teams, first team, second team, third team. And I have my ballot, and I'm not handing it in until the season is over. They're due Monday night. Season ends Sunday, so I will do my ballot Monday. The MVP is one thing in all those awards, but that third team is going to be brutal. And you realize that you're making these decisions that will have financial impact on these players. So, I mean, I would take it incredibly seriously anyway, but that adds to it. But now they have to play a minimum of 65 games, which I love. And Hembo, in some ways, it's kind of what the baseball writers don't have, right?
That's exactly right, because when it comes to the Hall of Fame, all the voters ever do is complain and cry to the Hall of Fame committee, give us some kind of guideline here. Give us some kind of criteria.
And they should. Let me pause on that thought. Up against the hour. We'll come back. Super busy day. It's Greeny on ESPN Radio.
Tuesday on Fitz and Harry, UConn's dominant run ends in a title. We'll tell you what it means.
Plus, I'll tell you one NFL team trending towards a championship.
Fitz and Harry Tuesday, noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
This is Greeny.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Is your check engine light on? The free Fix Finder service reads your check engine, ABS, and maintenance lights. It even sends a detailed report directly to your email. When you need to get back on the road, AutoZone's free Fix Finder service is here. Get the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes. Only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
See details at AutoZone.com.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you have joint pain and they're telling you surgery is your best option, please stop what you're doing and call QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Tony Smith. The professionals at QC Kinetics use the latest, most advanced regenerative treatments to bring lasting pain relief the natural way. Regenerative medicine harnesses your own body's healing agents to restore and repair damaged tissue in your knees, your hips, your shoulder, and back. The precision treatments are done in the office with no drugs and no downtime. QC Kinetics has hundreds of clinics all over America and thousands of satisfied patients. If your joints are aching from arthritis or injury, look beyond steroids and surgery and discover the amazing possibilities with regenerative medicine. Especially this time of year, you need to be living life to the fullest and doing the stuff you love to do. If you can get relief and avoid going under the knife, doesn't it make sense to check it out? Call QC Kinetics now. It's a free consultation, no obligations. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Don't wait. 414-285-3474.
Fleet Farm is your one-stop shop for everything you need for your pets. Choose from our huge selection of food, treats, toys, and more for your four-legged friends. Going on now, get a free $10 Fleet Farm gift card when you buy a 28-pound bag of Taste of the Wild dog food. Plus, with our price match guarantee, you'll always get the best price on your pet's food. Get it all at Fleet Farm, your pet headquarters.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of the Neal Group, with over 40 years of experience saving businesses money. Another year has come and gone. How did yours go? Do you have more money in the bank than last January? Do you just have a job, or do you run a business? 85% of business owners just have a job. Our years of experience and proven strategies help you run your business profitably and get it ready to sell when you are ready. That's the end game, right? We help you look at the numbers and understand what they mean. Just ask Jason, Michelle, or Peter, who sold their businesses this year for a nice price. Do you want to get a decent salary, pay what you owe, and make a profit too? Let us help you improve your business so you can work less and make more. Sounds pretty good, right? To get started on the road to making more money and having less stress, book a call or meeting at nealgroup.net right now. That's NEAL group.net. The first meeting is free to see if we can help. Again, nealgroup.net.
Magoo's on the Mound is your game day headquarters. Located on 59th and Blue Mound, just minutes from the ballpark. Magoo's has food options for everyone and a vast selection of craft beers and cocktails. Enjoy some drinks and watch all the games with your buds. Or stay entertained with pool, darts, trivia, poker, or live music. Plus, Magoo's on the Mound offers plenty of free parking and shuttles to all home games for the crew. Check out their food and drink menu as well as upcoming events at magoos.biz. That's magoos.biz.
At least twice as big
as the one you gave her when you got engaged.
That's the definition of a big anniversary diamond.
Kessler's has lots of ways for you to go twice as big.
We have twice as big diamonds from diamond mines.
These diamonds come from the fiery heart of Mother Earth. And the ones that exist in the world today are all there will ever be.
Kessler's also has twice as big created diamonds.
These diamonds come from the fiery heart
of a ball of lightning, a miniature star, inside a plasma chamber.
It's a wonder to behold.
Kessler's also has twice as big flickering firelight diamonds.
These natural diamonds flicker with all the warm colors of firelight
instead of the cold colors of ice.
Flickering firelight diamonds are another wonder to behold.
And all of these twice as big diamonds are for her.
The best wonder to behold of all.
Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you, go to KesslersDiamonds.com.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer. Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well,